Good day, good morning, good afternoon, sluts. Welcome back to another Slutcast. That was quick, am I right? It wasn't too long ago since the last one. See, I told you we're coming back stronger than ever. And I got with me is my Sagittarius brother.
The one, the only.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Gene or Star Killer Cosmic or yeah. But let's get right into it. You already heard the news. Fucking Microsoft is going all like, listen, we got the big bucks. We're gonna own your ass. It's pulling off of Disney.
That is the biggest acquisition in history of gaming.
And I didn't even think about that until I saw this video that is literally titled, in quotation, Xbox has no games, where they literally take the entire final battle of Avengers Endgame. Thanos is all of Sony's exclusive, and then the fucking Portal scene has everything that Microsoft owns. Motherfucker, they own Doom and everything, like, Jesus Christ.
We're gonna get into that. We'll get into
that. But first things first, history lesson to all you educational sluts. But Sony and Microsoft has been at it for fucking years now, and I think that before we get to the current fight and why it even led to this decision in the first place, we're gonna look things up from the beginning. I think it's pretty obvious, how this rivalry even came to be when you look at this slut's profile picture. But yeah, first things first, let's go with the PlayStation 2 versus the original Xbox, which is honestly...
Yeah, we're first going to start with a little bit of history lesson. We're first going to start with some foreplay. We're not going to really, put the lube in. Let's just jump into it.
What? Okay. All right,
we're not going to be like that. We're just going to do some foreplay first. Then we're going to, seal the deal.
No wonder we're sluts. Alright, so going to the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. This is honestly, for me, it seems one-sided because, bias aside, but the PlayStation 2 is honestly my favorite fucking console ever. It's my main childhood console. And the exclusives that it has on it was honestly pretty great. I mean, this system alone, fucking murdered the Dreamcast before it could have, paved the way to online systems. But the original Xbox had one thing. The PS2 has Blu-ray and it's some really good exclusive titles, and you could even play PS1 games backwards compatibility, which was probably a first for systems at the time. However, the original Xbox has one thing, and one thing only. Xbox Live. The Dreamcast may have been the first system to introduce online, but it was the original Xbox that paved it away, that really gave birth to it in the console era, with games like Halo, but more specifically Halo 2. This was a big fucking deal for its time, and I honestly think that even if you weren't really a big fan of Microsoft's exclusives, it's Halo was such a great fucking title for its time that it's you needed to own an original Xbox. You had to.
You had to, definitely.
Otherwise, you were just left out.
Once Halo came out, it was just because I don't know if you saw the Xbox documentary.
No.
It's called Power On. It's on YouTube. I saw the whole thing. It's very, very, very good.
Power On?
Yeah, it's called Power On.
Okay.
And definitely, they talk about Halo and how big Halo was as a game, because at the time, first-person shooters weren't even a thing on console. It was always on PC.
Yeah.
First-person shooters never existed on console, and then this game, the very first first-person shooter that comes out on console, revolutionized online gaming, first-person shooting controls on a controller, which people at the time didn't even think that it was possible.
Yeah, when you have
And
games like Doom had already existed prior, but it
yeah,
was
when you
usually
had
PC
games like
exclusive.
Doom and Quake that you could mainly play them on PC, and even old Bungie games like Marathon and Myth, they were all on PC. They were never on console. And just to think that a game of Halo scale could be out on consoles at the time, that was just like astronomically like holy shit at the time in the fucking 2000s.
And
Like
this is and that
nobody could have thought.
and this is the first Halo game, mind you. Like the first Halo game didn't have Xbox Live, but it was really popularized with LAN gaming at the time. But the game that really popularized it was Halo 2, and
Halo 2.
Halo 2 wasn't just big. It was a fucking monumental big game. Like
It was a cultural phenomenon,
Halo
man.
2 is the reason why we even had like a pro circuits for most games today, with MLG being like the biggest one at the time. And like seeing all the crazy stuff you can do in Halo 2 in conjunction to like not only first person shooters nowadays, but even the future Halo games was very interesting for its time. Like competitive Halo 2 and Halo 3, but I would probably say Halo 2 was like Halo at its peak for its time. Because not only did it pioneer Major League Gaming, which also paved the way for other games to showcase their competitive lifespan, like Super Smash Bros. Melee was also featured in there, but Halo 2 was the biggest crowd pleasing game at the time. It was such an incredible experience.
And
Like,
people loved Halo 2. Like I was like fucking 5 years old when Halo 2 came out. I wasn't even able to like even play that shit.
yeah, and what I mean by, it seemed like at the time you needed to own an Xbox. I mean, like, I was a PlayStation 2 fanboy for like my entire life. I didn't own an original Xbox. My cousin did. And even I felt like I was missing out on playing Halo. And even when I got my Xbox 360 eventually, like, there was still that little emptiness of like, I really wish I kind of did own an original Xbox at the time. But and that's the thing, like it's just what the accomplishments of this one franchise with this one system that really made a gigantic difference. It was a console seller. And even though I'm pretty sure Microsoft had its fair share of exclusives at the time, but they weren't as big as some of the Sony's products. Like if you look at the PlayStation 2's lineup, obviously you have games like, Kingdom Hearts, the Jack and Daxter games, Shadow of the Colossus, you have like all these the Metal Gear games. These are really strong games, but PlayStation 2 has unfortunately one big problem is that it doesn't run games the best. It's usually been outbeat. Both systems were usually beat by the Nintendo GameCube in terms of like how
Yeah,
well it could run games.
yeah, in the documentary they actually talked about how the PlayStation 2 was actually not developer friendly, where a lot of developers didn't really like the architecture that the PlayStation 2 was built on.
And
They actually
it comes over at the PS3 also too.
and they actually preferred to make games on the Xbox because it had the architecture was similar to PC, and they could make games faster, make games run better frame rate, and it was just a lot better to play on Xbox at the time, I would say.
Yeah,
Although I never had an original Xbox. I always had a PlayStation 2. I would play the original Spider-Man game on it. I'd play all I would play on PlayStation 2 honestly was Spider-Man. I would play Spider-Man 1, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, the game. And those games for me were just really good. I played Revenge of the Sith, the game,
yeah.
and I also played obviously Lego Star Wars. Like I was just such a big fan of Star Wars, and mainly because of the games. Like Lego Star Wars came out on the PlayStation 2. Freaking the original Battlefront games. Like I played all of them. I would just come out of school and literally just go to my grandma's house and play Star Wars Battlefront 2, Spider-Man 2, games like that that really built my childhood. and it was
Yeah.
just a really good time.
Like, not to sleep on Sony, but the PlayStation 2, as I mentioned, had some strong library of games. But one of my personal favorite things is the fact that it was also backwards compatible with PS1 games. I had the PS1 was my first system, but I didn't really own it for that long, and it was mostly at a beach house. When my sister got her PS2, I wanted a PS2 of my own, and most of my gaming memories from my childhood came from the PlayStation 2 with some of its exclusive titles. But I think the best game to compare how much the PS2 doesn't really run games the best way in conjunction to the GameCube and the original Xbox is Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is one of the best games ever, but it's mostly preferred to be played on GameCube. In comparison to the PS2, and maybe some even the 3D Sonic games just don't run well on PS2. There's the advantage that the original Xbox did have. Because even though the PlayStation 2 had some strong library of games, since you mentioned the fact that it was easier to make games on the original Xbox, that was one advantage that it had, as well as the fact that being able to play online with your friends at the time was just like a completely different thing for consoles, especially with a game like Halo 2. I will say this: Halo 2, it was so special that when it was time to pull the plug on the original Xbox Live, people were playing Halo 2 like fucking crazy. Even I was playing Halo 2 like crazy before they pulled the plug. That was one of my best gaming memories ever, just playing Halo 2 before like they pulled the plug around April of 2010. And it like brought the community just one last hurrah, and it was one of the more I think the only game series that probably had a similar experience was when Uncharted 2 and 3 lost their online capabilities. But even then, I would even argue that Halo 2 was just way more impactful and more special. I think they even like delayed the date of when they were gonna, remove the original Xbox Live because of how many people were playing Halo 2.
Yep.
Now, I could never forget that. Like, it was, I think at the time, like Halo 2, like I think that's part of the reason why I really enjoyed Halo. Like, it's just one of the most fun games ever. Like, I don't even get it. Like, I could go into a game like Call of Duty and even Overwatch, for instance, and I might get a bit frustrated and tilted, but Halo is just like, nah. Even if people, like, send you fucking voice messages through Xbox Live Messages and just tell you how they would fuck your mom, it's just still, like, a fun series, Like, I really enjoyed, like, overall playing Halo 2. I wish I could play a little bit more of 1, but because 1 had lack of Xbox Live multiplayer, and I guess with how some of the maps were built, it made it seem like not a lot of maps were not that it was playable, but not really possible because you needed like this big crowd of people, and it wasn't very common to get a LAN party nowadays.
I played CE on MCC, on Master Chief Collection.
Yeah. I mean, I did play on the original Xbox, but my main experience with Halo 1 came from the Anniversary Edition on Xbox 360. But, yeah. But all in all, like, the fact that the first Halo game still had its impact, and that was just icing on the cake when you compare it to Halo 2, like, I think that really, like, helped the original Xbox to being the second best console sell at the time, like, during that era. Because GameCube, I love the GameCube. It's my second favorite console, but GameCube was very, it's the safest console that they've made, like it definitely lacked a lot of the features that the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox had, because even though the PS2 wasn't super popular with its online components, it still had some games that ran online. And it also had the DVD players, which was new at the time, and that alone was what literally killed the Dreamcast. But compared to the GameCube, as great as the system is, compared to like the other two systems with their features, it just was kind of dated in comparison, or it just didn't really stand a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's much to say about this one. It's like, it's a matter of like if you prefer to. Huh?
It's just very straightforward. Like, it's either PlayStation 2 or original Xbox.
Yeah, this is the most straightforward.
Yeah, it's most straightforward and more like friendly, I would say.
And it's funny because Sony didn't even.
Other than friendly,
yeah,
one that's not really friendly is the PS3 and the Xbox 360.
Personally, this is my favorite console war ever. A lot of people would say the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo were going on it. Honestly, I thought that was just completely one-sided in favor of the Super Nintendo. I didn't really see a purpose of getting a Genesis. This one, I could definitely see either side. Both of them had shitty launches, like with the Xbox 360 having the Red Ring of Death and the PS3's the PS3 not only being worth $500 and the game's not really looking impressive upon its launch.
It was worth $600.
Oh, even worse. It was worth so much money, games were not looking that impressive, and the few PS3 models that could play PS2 games that were backwards compatible with PS2 games weren't working properly. So both consoles had really bad launches. However, one thing I can say is that both systems kept on improving in terms of the overall quality. Very few after the Xbox 360s were getting Red Ring of Death, they were making newer models that were just, either almost impossible to get a Red Ring of Death. Like, you got the Xbox 360 Elites, and the PS3 started getting some really good games. I'm going to say this right here, and it's going to be this might be a controversial opinion, but I think the first half of the lineup, I thought the 360 was like an objectively better system, because not only was Xbox Live like expanded upon, but I didn't really think that the first lineups of the PS3 games were good. I know Uncharted is a very beloved franchise, but I personally really don't like the first game all that much. In comparison to the fact that it was competing against fucking Halo 3, which is like the biggest game in that decade. Of the decade, Halo 3, I have so many great memories. I think right next to Halo 2, it was the one I played the most, and I think it's my personal favorite game in the series. And
Marcos, I don't think that that's really a controversial opinion, because
that Uncharted 1 is a
really. No, I don't think that your decision to saying that the Xbox 360 is a better console than the PS3, I don't think that people would argue with you.
Okay, I was mostly thinking my controversial opinion was that it's saying.
I would say that a lot of people would try, but I feel like it's just. I would say for me, for example, the only console I had was the PS3. I also had a 360.
Yeah, I had both.
I had both, but it was mainly my brother who was playing the 360.
Okay.
I played mostly on the PS3 because at the time I was really into Uncharted and I wanted to play all of the Uncharted games, and my brother was really into Halo Reach and all of the. He never played Halo 3 at the time. It was just now that we really got into Halo, got into really the fandom of Halo and why it's so good. And I agree that Halo is really one of the best first-person shooters ever created, in my opinion.
I think it's my favorite. I think it's the best first-person shooter.
It's no competition, and I would say that at the time, if I was really into the Xbox ecosystem, I would definitely get a 360, because it wasn't just Halo. Games like Gears of War.
That's another one. Gears of War was great. Left 4 Dead came out around. Left 4 Dead was an Xbox exclusive as well. Yeah.
Half-Life 2 came out on that.
You already know that Left 4 Dead and Halo alone already made me almost prefer the 360 over the PS3. I say almost for a reason, but I'll get to it. But my controversial opinion wasn't really. I don't think it was because it was me preferring the 360 over the PS3 on its early lifespan. I think my controversial opinion is that I just didn't think Uncharted 1 was a good game, especially when you compare it to its sequels. Its sequels improved upon it so much that it's kind of dated in comparison.
I mean, I like Uncharted 1, but it's nowhere near as good as the sequels. And I mean, that's how it should be, but I still like Uncharted 1 because it has personality. It was one of the it's all PlayStation exclusives have. They all have personality.
Even
Jack and Daxter.
Even Little Big Planet at the time was a really good game for the early PS3 days.
Sly Cooper was awesome.
I love Sly Cooper. I played the first game fairly recently. It was it and Ratchet and Clank were lost childhoods of mine, and I replayed the first one and I fucking loved it, honestly.
That's the thing. That's why it's never that one console completely beats the other at this time. It was just full on competition. Like
Yeah.
if you didn't have both, you were missing out on something.
And here's
That's
one
my point of view. And so, like
and
even with the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, they ran better on the 360. Like I played Skyrim on the PS3 and it ran like shit.
I played most of my hours on Fallout 3 on my PS3 and it was terrible.
Crashed all the time. It crashed all the time.
Yeah.
And at the time, Skyrim was like one of the biggest games that came out in 2011.
Yeah,
One of the
and
biggest
playing it on
games.
PS3 was just like ridiculous. Was
And
just
playing it on
bad.
PS3 was garbage. Garbage.
And then I didn't even realize that until I started playing 3 in New Vegas on 360. That's when I actually started realizing, wow, these games run so much better on 360 than on PS3. I didn't even, and right when we were just talking about how the PS2 was difficult to program their games, the PS3 was also just as bad, if not worse. And that's why games like Left 4 Dead and Fable were like Xbox exclusives, because they were like, hey, we prefer making our. I think so. I don't remember who said it, but someone mentioned the fact that they would make their games on Xbox 360 first, and then like a PS3 was like a secondary thing, because it was easier to make games for that system. It was more accessible.
Yeah, and a lot of people can argue, oh, then why do games like Uncharted and like Last of Us run so good and like look really amazing? That's called optimization.
And also Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is always
developer. Naughty Dog has always been like the best in terms of graphics, gameplay.
They always push the system to its limits. Jak and Daxter was a few games that had no loading screens no matter where you go. Like Uncharted looks great.
When a game is like an exclusive, like it's just like it's optimized for that console, but that doesn't have anything to do with like which console is better to make games on. It's not like right now where the PS5 and Series X are just like basically similar. Before the PS3 and the 360, the architecture was like completely different. PS3 used different shit that the Xbox 360 did. And basically the 360 had a more advanced chip than the PS3. That's why the Red Ring of Death was happening, because the cooling system combined with the chip was just too powerful, bro. Like that's
the 360 broke because it couldn't handle its own strength. Also, and like, but before we go any further,
because why the Red Ring of Death happened, they said on the documentary that every time you turned on and off the console, the cooling system would just like fuck up, because every time it didn't have anything to do with the game. It had to do with the console turning on and off. And the more you turned it on and off, the cooling system would just say like, what the fuck is going on?
You know what? Here's something funny. That was a method that a lot of people used to actually fix the Red Ring of Death at the time, was actually consistently turning it on and off when it was doing it.
Caused it.
I know, but the irony is that, like, I guess some people, and I tried this myself and it worked back then, but it's like there were people that found a loophole by just tapping it, like going back and forth on it actually would fix the problem temporarily. Though it's probably going to break the following day or two, but it's like still. But even then, like I don't want to hark on the PS3. I'm not saying it's a bad system by any means. It was my main console, like at the time, and the reason for it is because of one thing. The online was free. Like at the time, most of the arguments that people had with which system was better, the most that people would say is that the online was free. Xbox Live, yes, it was a monthly subscription thing, which is ironic because now everything is, even Nintendo Switch, you had to pay for the online. But at the time,
I would still say that Xbox Live was still better than. Even though it's free.
I'll get to that. Why I agree.
Yeah.
I agree still, because I'll explain why in a minute, but here's the thing. Like, Xbox, like, because I was a broke motherfucker at the time, like, PS3 having free online, and because most of my friends at the time were PS3 users, it benefited me more. I only would play Xbox Live during, spring. I only would play Xbox Live during the summer break or winter break when there's no school involved, and then I could play Left 4 Dead or Halo online. But the PS3, but I mostly got most of my games on PS3, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Mortal Kombat 9, the Soul Calibur games. I got all that because, most of my friends would play those games on the PS3. The only games that they would play were the Xbox exclusives. And then this is where we were just talking about how the original Uncharted 1 is pretty dated, but then Uncharted 2 comes out, and not only is it an amazing game on its own, but it also was the first Uncharted game to actually introduce online for its series, you know? It's like, even though there were already games that had PlayStation Network compatibility, this was the first time the Uncharted games was actually doing it. And Uncharted 2, much like how I feel towards Halo 2, has some of the, like, is another game that I think had a lot of diehard players that were playing the game before they cut the plug on the online at the time. That and its and the sequel, Uncharted 3. But Uncharted 2, like, there were like so many good times you could play. You could play through missions cooperatively with your friends. There were like some I don't remember, I think this is in Uncharted 3, but I don't remember if Uncharted 2 had this too. But like, there was these like treasure hunting games that you get to play, almost like the survival mode like in Uncharted 4, but you know, I remembered it was more so of a concept in Uncharted 3 because I would play it a lot with my friend Gavin. And actually, that was what got me interested in Uncharted in the first place. But Uncharted 2 and 3 had so much content in their online that I feel like once they started getting the hang of the content that you can add on the PlayStation, on games, on their exclusive titles, like that's when the PlayStation 3 started taking off. And then this is when I believe, personally, the Xbox Live was starting to have a decline when they introduced something like the Kinect, for instance. And then that's when they started like advertising, you know, ads, you know, like they were starting advertising like applications, you know, movies, stuff included, stuff for the Kinect. Like the Xbox 360, starting around 2010-ish, started becoming like a product, or at least like a way to market more things outside of like its exclusivity. And I think this is when Xbox was started to get a little bit downhill. Not that it was still an inferior system or anything. It's just that by that point, Xbox was already beating PlayStation 3, so it technically didn't really have to make any improvements. It was already the stronger system, it was already the most sold system of the three, and the PlayStation 3, despite some improvements, still had a lot to carry over before it could actually outsell the 360. But we're seeing like a progression of the PS3 getting better games, with Uncharted 2 being like the pioneer of that. And Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite games ever, and in my opinion, one of the best games ever made. So it's like, it was up to a great start with that game, especially.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's talk about the fall of a Titan, PS4 versus Xbox One.
Before we go there, let me talk about something. The reason why I still do believe that the original Xbox Live on the Xbox 360 was better, PlayStation Network got fucking hacked at some point by the PlayStation Store, so it was shown that they weren't really, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they weren't secure at the time. And a lot of people, this is before I owned a PS3, so a lot of people, that was like the biggest news at the time, and I felt like that definitely benefited Xbox Live a lot at the time. But as time progresses, like, the PS3 did get some better games. The Last of Us was like a fucking masterpiece at the time. And over time, like, before, I wanted to end this with saying that this eventually, before their discontinuation, after so many years of struggling and trying to catch up, the PS3 actually managed just to outsell the 360 before they were both discontinued. So, like, this is partially why I believe this was, like, the best console war, because, you know, it was, like, these two giants trying to, like, see which one is the better system. And then the other one, which is, like, more or less, like, behind the 360, and I guess even the Wii at the time, you know, it managed just to catch up to its competitor. And thus the PS3 came out on top at the end. So I just thought that was interesting.
And now, the fall of a Titan.
The PS4 versus the Xbox One. What the fuck happened to you, Microsoft? I've never seen a more one-sided shit ever. Like, where to begin? Let's talk about the Xbox One's shitty launch with its, like, used games policy.
Both had shitty launches.
Both had shitty launch, but the Xbox One had a shittier launch between of the two. Unlike the PS3 and 360, they were like.
I have to argue that, like, the Xbox One did have a little bit. You know, it was still dog shit with, like, the no used games bullshit at the time.
That was
which right now it looks like a joke because nobody fucking buys used games anymore. So right now it's like a joke.
Yeah, it's like, it's because now we buy our games digitally, so it's like,
Because now
I see
everybody
that.
buys their games digitally. The future's gonna be digital. All
I,
that
I
bullshit.
see that, but
And
imagine if you wanted to borrow someone's like a copy of someone's games and you can't even play it because it was
yeah,
used. Like that was still
yeah,
bullshit.
but now, no, what I'm saying is that now in 2022, it's just like a joke. Now that used games shit is just a joke. Like nobody plays used games anymore. You have
Yeah.
to either buy it digitally or you have to go fucking through the settings of your console and play on game share, like share a game with your friend. Which Xbox One did not have that shit. I think that they introduced that after in the One X, which we're gonna get to like the One X after, which is like objectively a way better console than the Xbox One. But I do have to. We first have to talk about the original
Like how,
PS4 and the
like
original
the
Xbox One.
quality of the systems. I
Both
mean,
of
we,
them
we, we don't we
launched.
didn't we didn't touch upon like the other versions of the other systems, like the PS3 Slim or the Xbox 360 Elites and Slim, but because like they're still like better versions of their other counterparts. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
owning the original Xbox 360, like post Red Ring of Death era, would have still been a good system. And even if you compare it to the other models, it's just that they either had more space or just run better. But
But man, I have to say that the launch of the PS4 was like. You have to keep in mind when I finished playing the PS3, I played Last of Us and Uncharted, and I was really getting into the PlayStation exclusives. And PlayStation came out with Killzone Shadowfall and fucking Knack. Those were the two games that came out on the PlayStation 4 at launch. Whereas the Xbox One had Sunset Overdrive, Rise Son of Rome, and Dead Rising 3, which you would say that, yeah, Dead Rising 3 and all of these other games, like a lot of people want to say they're trash, but I've seen a lot of people that say that, oh no, Sunset Overdrive is fucking amazing.
yeah, I was gonna say like I don't
And,
remember hearing back. I never played Sunset Overdrive, but I think I played a little bit of it in the Microsoft store that we used to have. But I remember like
but right,
thinking it was a good
but
game.
I heard that a lot of PlayStation fanboys were like, oh, this game is trash, like, and no, like, a lot of PlayStation fanboys on the internet swayed my opinion a lot because all I would see were PlayStation fanboys clamoring that all of the Xbox stuff is trash. But now that I have the Series X, I have to say that that is false, bro. Like, yeah, for a time, the Xbox didn't have any games, but the games that they did have were either decent or just like really good. Like
Oh, I love
Ori
Ori and
and
the
the Will of the Wisp,
Ori and the
and
Blind
Ori and the Blind
Forest.
Forest
Oh, I love
are
that game.
really fucking good games. Sunset Overdrive is amazing, and Halo 5, the campaign is dog shit, but the multiplayer is actually really fucking good.
Well, Master Chief Collection. We're talking. Wait, doesn't the Master Chief Collection also have like a shitload of like queue times?
Oh yeah, the Master Chief Collection was dog shit when it came out, but right now it's like the best collection of any game possible.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the PS4. Right after fucking Knack and Killzone Shadowfall, because that was garbage. In 2015, they released. I would say that the peak of the PS4 was like in 2016 when Uncharted 4 came out,
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
because that was like the biggest game that
I'm
I
gonna
wanted.
I'm gonna say
Like,
this.
I wanted for sure.
I'm gonna say this like for a second, but like, and I had to do like a school project about like a marketing stuff about marketing, and like it was a presentation, and and like the topic I chose is to try to convince people to get the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One. This was in 2017, so this is like this is like post the year you were talking about, And I realized around that time period, PlayStation had already garnered like its really strong exclusives in comparison to Xbox. Like for instance, at the time, The Last Guardian had already come out, the Uncharted 4 had already come out, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was a PlayStation exclusive, Kingdom Hearts was PS4 exclusive, like the collector. The HD collections was Sony exclusive, and they were, in my opinion, the definitive version before they were released on PC. But they were. I had to like part of the things is that like I had to compare and contrast the PlayStation 4 exclusive titles and the Xbox One exclusive titles, and there was like so many options. Even The Last of Us got remastered, and Uncharted came out in a collection to get the first 3 entries. I only wish that there was online in those, that there was online components in Uncharted 2 and 3 in that collection, kind of like what the Master Chief collection did. But the fact that there was like so many games around that time period, it was actually kind of amazing how there was like so many Sony exclusives, but the Microsoft exclusives were either just okay or just not a lot of them. Cuphead at the time was Microsoft exclusive, but aside from that, you also have Killer Instinct, you have the Rare Replay, Master Chief Collection, and Halo 5 Guardians, and the Gears of War games, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure of how this is, like, personally how I feel, but I'm not sure how like, for instance, let me take Halo 5 Guardians, for instance. Like, I think Halo 5 Guardians is one of the weaker entries in the series in comparison to, 2, 3, even Reach, or, compared to 2, 3, Reach, the first game, and Odious.
4,
well, 4 is the worst entry in my opinion, but that's besides the point. But like compared to like Halo 5 Guardians and even the Gears of War games at the time, compared to their 360 and original counterparts, in the case for Halo, I don't know, like they're just not like they weren't as good as I remembered them being. And I'm not sure if this is just me misremembering them, but like I don't remember. But like I remember Gears of War being at its peak during the 360 era with the trilogy. I even had a friend that used to play Gears of War 3 competitively, but over time, like the Gears of War 4 and 5, like they just weren't like in the same level on those other 3 games. And I've at least seen enough Gears of War 3 to know how deep and interesting that game was as a competitive game. But I just didn't see that with 4 and 5, for instance. Halo 5 Guardians can be fun, but the story was not only terrible, but it just wasn't. I feel like even the gameplay just didn't really feel like it belonged to like a Halo title, Yeah, we knock on sprinting a lot in Halo nowadays, but I would say that there's more issues with Halo's gameplay, like fucking armor abilities and Reach, and the Spartan abilities and and even the fucking score streak system in Halo 4. But I don't know, like when I look at the quality between the games that we had in Xbox One comparing to their 360 counterpart, they weren't as good. And even if they were good or okay, they weren't compared to PS4's exclusives. It's not even a contest at this point. Not only that, but we were just talking about how the 360 started doing advertisements for other products outside of their title. Xbox One has like the worst UI I've ever seen in any fucking console, and it's partially because of that.
But now we're going to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Marcos is the one that talks about Xbox. I'm the one who talks about PlayStation.
Go ahead.
He's a PC boy.
Yep, you go ahead. You take the spotlight. I'm still somewhat PlayStation
4 boy. After 2016, 2017 came out. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, that game was so... Oh, yeah, that's another one.
In my opinion, bro. In my opinion. And I'm going to catch a lot of hate for this shit. I prefer Horizon Zero Dawn over Breath of the Wild.
Oh, okay. I thought that wasn't so bad. I thought you were going to say like...
No. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for... I prefer Zero Dawn over Breath of the Wild.
I don't blame you. Horizon Zero Dawn was... I didn't even play a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn. I played it with Kat and Guy, and even then, like, we had so much fun, like, messing around with, like, the little chargers.
The story was, like, and the side quests were very bad. But man, just the gameplay in the open world fighting the fucking robot dinosaurs is just like amazing. It's just the game is about fighting robot fucking dinosaurs, man. Like
Yeah, you can't
the
go wrong with
story,
that, huh?
the story for me was like, eh. It was like pretty weak in my opinion. The story compared to like the game that came after. Oh my god. And it was just like top tier. Never mind that. In 2015, PlayStation 4 came out with Bloodborne, bro, and you
Oh
know
yeah,
how
that's
much I
another.
gush about Bloodborne.
When I met you, like the From Software games was like your fucking kink at the time. I think you told
Definitely.
me that Dark Souls 3 was your favorite game at the time, but now you say Uncharted 2.
No. Uncharted 2 is like second. But man, like playing Bloodborne was just like so much fun. And playing it again, I got the platinum trophy for Bloodborne. It was just an amazing experience. Amazing.
Yeah.
Then Horizon Zero Dawn came out, and I was like so gush with that the open world. Like I was gushing with the open world, but not the story, not anything. Like, but after Horizon,
2018.
oh my, 2018,
Yep.
God
Spider-Man and God of
of
War.
War. Oh my God, God of fucking War. Mind you, I played Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead 2. Those 3 games alone was so good to have a PlayStation, bro.
Yeah.
So good to have a PlayStation.
Red Dead 2 was PS4 exclusive, right?
What?
Was Red Dead 2 PS4 exclusive, or did it also came out on one?
Ratchet? You mean Ratchet and Clank the reboot?
No, Red Dead Redemption, you dingus.
No, it came out on the one. Came out on the
Oh,
one as
okay.
well.
For some reason,
But
here's the thing: because I see like so many, like I think at the time I only see it being played on PlayStation systems. It almost made me think it was only on Xbox.
but
I mean
dude,
PS4.
it was so fucking amazing. Spider-Man, such a great game.
Yep.
But Jesus Christ, not comparable to Red Dead 2 and fucking God of War.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
2018. That month period when I met you, you were juggling between those 3 games at once.
I
Like we could have made if we had decided to do a Slugcast earlier. I think we could have actually done like a game of the year thing at the
dude,
time for 2018.
God of War was such a fucking amazing game. I played that game when it came out. I to this day I do not want to play it again because the first experience of that game is just fucking amazing. I don't want to replay that game. Like for
It's
real.
so good. I don't want to play it again.
It's not that it doesn't have any replay value because it does with all of the Valkyries that you can kill, all of the open world bosses that you can kill as well. It's just like such an amazing game, but it's that the first experience of that game, the way that I played it, the Valkyries that I killed, the ending, Jesus Christ.
Oh
I
yeah, the
don't want to
ending.
play that game again because it's just going to it's not going to be the same way. I'm not going to feel the same way playing that game cuz like when I played that game for the first time, it was just like oh my god. I can't wait for the second one. Like I literally want to play the second one right now.
Yeah, and then like that.
And Red Dead 2, Red Dead 2 like consumed me, bro. Like Red Dead 2, like I played the fuck out of that game. You can look at my trophies on Red Dead 2. I think I have like 500 hours into Red Dead 2.
And then, like, meanwhile, the only well, these are just PlayStation stuff, like, or with the exception of Red Dead 2. But it's like, I like at like when you compare it to like what we had on Xbox One, it's like it's nothing compared to like PS4. And then the only thing I can say that kind of gives it an edge is the fact that Xbox One, and I hope that, and this is something that I will praise Microsoft for because they've been super consistent with this, but the only thing I really appreciate from the Xbox One is its backwards compatibility. So you can play like even original Xbox games and the newest hardware of the Xbox
Dude,
One.
for real.
Like that is my biggest praise I will give to Xbox One, because it's like, if my 360 like ever died, like then I would have definitely get an Xbox One, because I'm confident that most of my 360 and original titles would be playable. My main problem is the fact that then that would mean that, and even currently with the Series X, like they wouldn't be a day one launch for that system, for that feature alone. They would have to be a little bit later as they get implemented.
But here's the thing, bro. This is where like Microsoft was kind of bouncing back.
Yeah,
I would say they were bouncing back, but taking fucking baby steps. They were going so slow. They're still going slow. But here's the thing. The One X came out.
the One X.
The One X was actually pretty good. It didn't have any exclusive games. I would have to say that. But it was but it came out with Game Pass.
Yeah, that's another game changer.
I remember when Game Pass came out, people were shitting on Game Pass, bro. People were shitting on Game Pass.
People use it more than PlayStation now.
And now, bro, now fucking Game Pass is taking over.
Yeah.
Right now, if you don't have Game Pass, who the fuck are you, bro?
Oh,
who
shit,
the fuck are you?
Oh shit, my name is XMARC, and I don't have Game Pass. Let me get it. I still don't have Game Pass. I've been really lazy.
people are shitting on Game Pass a lot, but here's like when it came out. But I have to say, I gotta be real, bro. I bought the Switch over the One X, and I have to be honest. I have not used the Switch for fucking anything.
I almost forgot you even had a Switch, to be honest.
Dude, the only game I played was Breath of the Wild and Mario, and I was like, that's it. Like, that's it for me, because I don't fucking play, like, I'm not a Pokemon fan. I don't like playing the Pokemon games. You know how I hate turn-based action RPG. Like, I hate turn-based action. I think it's boring. And maybe I could have gotten into Pokemon with Pokemon Go, but my childhood was just never that. I was never into
I don't even know if I agree with that. I think you would have found Pokemon Go an overrated, broken piece of garbage, honestly. I feel like, knowing you, that's exactly what you would have said.
It's that my childhood was never into the trading cards shit. I was never into the Pokemon trading cards. I was never into that, but I knew way too much. I knew so many people that were into that with like Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Pokemon trading cards. Like, I was never into that. I was never into the DS, bro. I was actually into the PSP when it came out.
I do love the DS. DS is still my favorite handheld, and then PSP is second.
I wasn't into the DS when it came out. I wasn't into I was never into Pokemon, bro. Never. Even the anime. And right now I'm watching Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, and I'm still not into the anime, bro. I do not get it. That's like one big thing that people love that I'm like,
Are you talking about when you say you don't like anime, or just the Pokemon anime?
The Pokemon anime, bro. I don't get it.
But you like the other, but you're enjoying the other two animes, what you're saying.
I enjoy Demon Slayer, and I fucking enjoy Attack on Titan.
Okay.
I love Dragon Ball, but I don't get it with Pokemon. I don't get the games, I don't get the cards, I just don't get it. And I can honestly say that if I bought the Xbox One X over
you would
the
still
Switch,
be using it. You would have used it way more.
I would have used the One X way more because, number one, it had Game Pass, and number two, it has backwards compatibility.
Not only that, for me, I think, for me, I can't really complain because my Switch was a gift. Kat got me the Nintendo Switch at the time, and so I can't really complain, and I made some good use on the Nintendo Switch. But I will stand by that, with the exception of the GameCube, maybe the Nintendo 64 and Wii to some exceptions, but GameCube was mostly my peak when it comes to Nintendo game. Okay, well, the DS. The GameCube and DS, those are my two main Nintendo systems. But I was never really much of a Nintendo fanboy. I do like some things from Nintendo, like the Super Smash Bros. Games, Pokemon, Metroid, and Zelda. But outside of those four, I'm not a big fan of Mario. I don't really care for getting any, like, I wouldn't even get any new game on the Switch, or because it's inferior. It runs worse than the other
Like
systems.
I had the Wii, bro, but you know what I played on the Wii? I played fucking Call of Duty Modern
I
Warfare
was
on the
gonna
Wii,
say
bro.
Black
I didn't even
Ops. I was gonna
I
say
didn't
Black Ops.
I also played Black Ops, but I didn't even play the Wii games, bro. I didn't even play like Zelda at the time. I was not into Zelda. I was not into I was into Mario Kart, but I wasn't into like the Mario games like Super Smash Bros. 2. I wasn't into that, or like even Galaxy. I played Galaxy and I thought it was really good. I really
I
liked
like Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Galaxy was great. But
But
yeah, like even
I
Mario Odyssey, I like Mario Odyssey, but I didn't even get it because it's like I didn't even buy it because it's like it wasn't personally like
but it's
like
like
a game for me.
for me my childhood was PlayStation. Like I was more
Same.
into Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper's my shit. Sly Cooper.
I'm more of a Jack and Dexter guy myself, but I do love Sly Cooper.
I love Sly Cooper. Still to this day, I fucking hate that they haven't made another Sly Cooper game.
The latest one was a PS Vita
Where
exclusive.
the hell is the Sly Cooper TV show, bro?
Oh yeah, they were still. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
I still remember that the first Sly Cooper game I played was on fucking GameStop when they had the PlayStation 3 on, and I still remember that Uncharted 2 was there, and I was like, holy shit, this game is fucking awesome. I can climb walls. Shit, holy fuck.
Yeah, no, Sly Cooper's great. I've been trying to. I need to get into Sly 2.
Sly Cooper's like probably my favorite like furry game that the PlayStation had.
Why couldn't you just say PlayStation mascot? You had to say furry game.
And dude,
it's like, yeah, my favorite furry game.
I have to say, bro. I have to say that. Have you seen the new Sonic game, the open world Sonic game?
Sonic Frontiers, yeah.
Dude, that looks good. Man.
Yeah, it looks really good. Like honestly,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it comes out on the Switch, that's probably the only Switch game I'm gonna fucking buy. But if it's coming out on the PlayStation,
it's coming out on multi-platforms, dude. It's not a Switch exclusive.
Bro, then I'm not. Then I'm
that's
getting
the
it
thing.
on the PS5, dude. I'm gonna play it on the PS5.
That's the thing. Like, for instance, when the Switch, like, I know I used to shit on the Wii U for not having a lot of games besides its Nintendo library, and I kind of undermine the Wii U a little bit, but I'll get to that in a minute. But it's like, as soon as Switch started getting Skyrim and all those other games, or even Doom 2016, then I think to myself, why would I get the Switch version of Doom or Skyrim when it runs worse than like getting them on the newer hardware? Hell, like, you know, I got Overwatch on the Switch, and it's still it runs really bad.
I have to say this, bro. I was when the Xbox One X came out, I was really getting into Skyrim's mod community.
Oh yeah,
I was getting into modding. And I remember that I told you that I bought a PC. And
yeah,
I was
you were so
mods on Skyrim.
Every conversation I had with this boy was like, "Hold on, I'm downloading mods on Skyrim." This motherfucker, and Alec is going through that phase of Fallout New Vegas. I told him that the mod.
But I have to say that the PlayStation 4 was coming out with like the mods, but dude, the mods were fucking trash.
I haven't even played it on mods.
The mods on the PS4 compared to the mods on Xbox One X, they were trash because almost all of the mods that were on PC were on Xbox, and I was like, God damn it! I literally had to buy stuff from the fucking Creation Club that people on PC and Xbox One X had for free.
Damn.
They had it for free, and I was like, God fucking damn it. I gotta have an Xbox for, like...
Did you get an Xbox One X? Like, where did you play it? Like, how did you play the Xbox One X?
I never got an Xbox One X.
Oh, Game Pass. Game Pass.
Because it was between when the Switch came out, and I wanted to get into Legend of Zelda, and I was really fucking liking Breath of the Wild. I still don't like it more than I like Horizon Zero Dawn, because I prefer Horizon Zero Dawn more. And
Yeah.
I'm more of an objective PlayStation fanboy when the PlayStation 4 came out. But man, like, I was really getting into like the Skyrim mod community, and just playing mods on the PS4 was just utter garbage. And I played Fallout 4 mods as well, and god damn, they don't even have the fucking backpack mod on
Dude, Fallout 4
PS4,
had
man.
some of the Fallout 4 is another game that has some really good mods, and it's like the
They
fact that
have
you try to
really
even
fucking good mods, and the
like
PS4. I mind you, Xbox One X has literally DLC sized mods. PS4 did not have those mods.
and
I,
also I will say this, like Fallout 4 regarding the mods, like if you actually did get to play it on PC, and I guess even Xbox One, but it's like if you got to play it on PC, I will mods alone, I think Fallout 4 is the best game in the series when it comes to the mods. And the mods are really good in New Vegas too, but like Fallout 4's mods are fucking crazy, dude.
yeah, and that's why. And I literally was getting into the mods, and when I saw that Xbox had better mods than PS4, because one of my friends actually played on Xbox One on S. He played on Xbox One S, and I went to his house, and we literally played Skyrim, and I saw that he had like a lightsaber, fucking cape, and he downloaded the Jedi Council mod, and I was like, God
Damn.
damn it. God damn it. And all the shitty mods that I have are like new house mods and fucking companion mods. And it's not
Damn.
even good companion mods. It's actually like, because with the Xbox you could like fucking adjust the dialogue, and you could have new companions that modders would add. PlayStation did not have that. It did not have that. They had like really shitty companions, bro. Not the new companions where you could add new dialogue and like really add like some new shit to that. But it on the PS4 it really sucked. The mods, they really sucked.
Yeah.
But I still have to say that PS4 to me is objectively still a way better console than
There
the
were
Xbox
improvements
One.
on the Xbox One, but it's like you said, there were like very tiny baby steps that they were taking.
They were
Overall,
very tiny baby steps. Baby
overall, the
steps. Where
PlayStation. Yeah,
but
you were
I do
saying.
have to say that objectively, the Xbox One X, when it comes to the specs and the architecture, is way better than the PS4 Pro. Mind you,
Overall,
the
oh yeah,
PS4
PS4 Pro.
Pro is still like, for me, the better console because it had better games. But Xbox was starting to have stuff that I wanted, which
Yeah,
were Elder Scrolls mods, Fallout mods, and Game Pass.
and it gets even better, especially like once we move forward with the current scenario with Microsoft. But before we get there, I think I
There is
think
there is one acquisition that we have to talk about before we start talking about the PS5 and Series X, and that's Bethesda.
yeah,
Microsoft bought Bethesda for I think it was $7 billion,
I'll look into it.
and
Microsoft.
it's $7 billion. I remember
Okay,
they bought Bethesda for $7 billion, and I
$7.5 billion.
love
Yes.
I love the Bethesda games. I love Skyrim, Fallout. I love Doom Eternal. I'm playing through Doom Eternal right
I
now on the
fucking love
PS5,
Doom Eternals.
and
Doom
I
2016 and Eternals are great.
love Doom Eternal. I love Doom Eternal. And like, now to think that Doom 3, the next Doom game, is only going to be exclusive to PC and Xbox, that hurts my soul.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul that Elder Scrolls 6, Marcos, I've talked to you about Elder Scrolls 6 ever since we met. And dude, I cannot go without playing Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
I literally have been waiting that game for a fucking decade,
You
and you're
probably, you
telling
probably, you
me,
probably were waiting for that game more than I was waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 at the time.
and you're telling me that the PlayStation 5 is not gonna have Elder Scrolls 6? Are you fucking kidding me?
A lot of people can make the argument that having exclusive titles on each system can kind of ruin, like, sort of ruins the gaming industry to some extent, but I would argue that this is exactly because it's a business at the end of the day, you know? Like, them trying to gain a company or exclusives, like, having exclusives owned to themselves is a business practice. Because without it, a lot of people would just not buy the Xbox, you know? And it's like, or would skip Game Pass or whatever. But it's like, this
it made me buy the Xbox.
exactly. Like it makes people that would normally be of Sony a pure diehard PlayStation fanboy to actually start, looking into the other side. Like, let me see what Microsoft has. I wouldn't have had an Xbox 360 if it weren't for fucking Halo. And even then, like, I still think Xbox 360 had like some great fucking titles on its own. But this is exactly what Microsoft needs to be in the lead, you know?
I can tell you that if it wasn't for them buying Bethesda at the time, I wouldn't even think of buying the Series X. Because when the Series X was revealed, I can tell you that I was more excited for PlayStation 5 for real.
I think I was more. I think the PlayStation 5 was like once it came out, like, you saw the graphics. Like you see that the PlayStation 5 was like hitting its like peak, almost like how where the PS3 and PS4 should be by today's standards. But the PlayStation 5 is now. It gets to the point where I even want to replay like some games like Uncharted 4 and get ready to shoot me, get ready to like gasp for this, but. I'm kind of because I kind of like how Naughty Dog pushes the consoles to its its limits. I kind of want to see how The Last of Us Part 2 even looks like on PS5. Because, like, the graphics, like, the way the PlayStation 5 was even willing to push games that were already released on the PS4 to even higher standards, the graphics engines, like, has to be, like, the most gorgeous things ever. So it's like,
but here's the thing. Series X has better specs than the PS5.
Interesting.
Series X has 12 teraflops. PS5 has 10. Xbox Series X has a faster CPU than the PS5.
That I believe.
They have a faster CPU than the PS5, and it's not like before where the PS4 was better graphics, better games, better everything than the Xbox One. Now Xbox Series X has the better graphics, but PS5 still has the better games. I do have to say that 2020
This is before Activision. This is before Activision, right? This is before Activision. This is just Bethesda.
No, still it's very hard because like alright, when the PS5 launched, it came out with Demon Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Okay, yeah, those are two really strong ones.
Here's the problem. Miles Morales also came out on the PS4.
Yeah.
And I played Miles Morales on the PS4. And I tried to play it again on the PS5. It runs better. Everything is better, dude. Everything is better. But I do have to say, I already played it. I already played Miles Morales on the PS4, and it kind of really doesn't want me to I don't want to play it again. Because I still have to say, I played it on the PS4. I played it twice on the PS4, and I don't want to play it again. Because I already played it. That's the thing. Like, PS5, it runs extremely better on the PS5 because I played the first part on the PS5 and Jesus Christ, at 60 frames per second, the game feels amazing. It feels amazing. But I played it already. I already played it on the PS4. You know what I mean?
But you wouldn't replay it if it was like a game you really enjoyed?
I really enjoyed Miles Morales. Like, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's that I already played it twice.
Ah, you got burned out.
I already got everything. I platinumed Miles Morales.
So
I platinum
you just kind of got burned out by it a little bit.
and it's like there's nothing left for me to do. So it I don't have any reason to play it again on PS5. I did play Demon Souls, and I have to say it's amazing, but goddamn, it's the same shit as the PS3 version.
So it's the same game but like prettier, like just an enhanced graphics.
It's the same game but enhanced graphics. It has same everything.
So it's still not like it didn't like fix the problems that Demon Souls had on the PS3.
It did not.
Damn.
It did not. It still has the same problems. Which I like that because it still gave me the same experience as I would in the PS3. Because I did not play Demon Souls on the PS3. I finally play on the PS5, and it's an amazing game, but I have to say, it's so fucking easy, bro. It's so
Really?
easy. It's so easy. Compared to Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, I shit you not, I never died fighting against a boss.
Wow.
I never died. I never died. You can literally cheese every boss, and you can literally, number one, cheese every boss, and number two, you can easily predict all of the attacks that they're going to do. Because that's what I would have liked that they would have done, is that improve on the difficulty, improve everything that they did. Because for me, as a Souls veteran, I played through all of the Souls games. I played through Dark Souls 1. I played through the shitty shit that Dark Souls 2 was. I played Dark Souls 3. I played Sekiro. I still have not finished Sekiro.
I was gonna ask if you played Sekiro.
I still haven't finished it. I am trying to finish it. I platinumed Bloodborne. Demon Souls is so fucking easy, bro. It's so easy. It's so easy. I never died against a boss. The only times I died was because of the bullshit spawns of the enemies that they still have not fixed from the PS3 version. But I never died against a boss. Against the Penetrator, I didn't die. Against the final boss, I didn't die. Against the King, I didn't die. Against fucking Garo Vinland and Knight and the Priest, I didn't die. Astrea, I didn't die. It's so easy. The game is so easy compared to all other Souls games. It's so easy. And yeah, you can argue that it's the first Souls game that ever came out, but still, it's a remake. Improve on the difficulty.
They did something similar. They did something similar with Dark Souls Remastered. Like, it didn't really seem to, like, change much from the original, which is, like, kind of a ripoff for PC users, considering that...
And here's another thing. They want you to buy the game for $70.
$70? Jesus fuck. Why 70?
You don't know that?
Why is it 70? No, I didn't know that, actually.
Dude, all PS5 games are $70.
What?
You didn't know that?
No, I don't own a PS5, dude. Why would I be going?
Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS5 is $70. The new God of War on PS5 is going to be $70. Horizon Forbidden West, if you buy it on the PS5, is going to be $70.
Why
versus
is it 70?
On the PS4, versus on the PS4, which is $60.
Why is it $70?
Halo Infinite, the fucking Halo Infinite, which is also on Game Pass, is $60, and you have to tell me that Demon Souls, which is the same fucking experience as Demon Souls on the PS3, it's $70.
Dude, the Insane Trilogy came out with $40 because that was a collection of 3 games that were remastered, and it's like, you're going to tell me that Demon Souls, which they basically did the same thing since you told me they didn't even fix the issues from the PS3 version, is worth more than that? Almost double it? It's like, that's so stupid. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that, dude. Wow.
All of the PS5 games that are going to come out are $70.
But why?
And mind you, God of War, which came out on PC, It's $70.
Why?
A 4-year-old game. A 4-year-old game that came out on PS4
that's still
in
not that's not as
2018.
that's still
It's $70 on Steam.
That's still pretty
What the
bad, but
fuck?
I don't know if it's bad compared to what Nintendo's done re-releasing Wii U games and still putting it full price like Mario Kart 8. Like that Mario Kart 8 is still $60, and that game was on Wii U since 2014.
Dude, I played Demon's Souls and it was $70. Demon's Souls $70. They want me to pay $70 for the same fucking experience I would have had on the PS3. Mind you, it's amazing. It's still amazing. It's better graphics.
Don't get me wrong.
Better animations, better everything, but god damn it, it's the same shit. And it's easier than all of the other Souls games I played. And the thing that I love about the Souls games, it's the difficulty. They literally the difficulty of the Souls games.
I'm looking it up, and I guess the reason why they're more expensive, according to this website, it says the rising cost could be due to the rising cost of production of new video games.
No, bro, that is fucking bullshit. Because all of the Xbox games that have literally come out, the new ones, Halo Infinite is $60. Forza Horizon 5 is $60.
It's gonna
Psychonauts 2 is $60.
It's gonna concern me the fact that it's like now games are probably gonna end up being $70 because of Sony.
No, they said the same shit with 4K. The reason why games can't run at 60 FPS on 4K is because of the fucking TVs. That's what they said. It's fucking bullshit. Because Halo Infinite on the Series X runs at 4K 60 FPS, bro.
Damn, Microsoft's winning. Microsoft's winning my fucking trust right now.
on the fucking Series X, you can look it up. It's 4K 60 FPS, and fucking Returnal. I don't know if it's 4K 60. I seriously don't know. I'm not gonna say.
What's the game called? Wait, what's it called? What?
Returnal. It's an amazing PS5 game. It's an amazing game. I can tell you without a doubt that the new Ratchet and Clank game, Rift Apart, I played it. It's an amazing game. It's really fucking amazing. But here's the issue. It's not next gen. It's not 4K 60 FPS. It's 4K.
Returnals does run on 60 FPS, but I'm trying to find if it actually runs on 4K. It runs at dynamic 4K. So technically speaking, yes, it runs 4K 60.
I don't know. I have to say that I don't know. But Ratchet and Clank runs on 4K 40 FPS, which is still not comparable. Which is still not comparable to like fucking Halo Infinite that runs at 4K 60. And if you play on 1440p Halo Infinite, it runs at 120 frames per second.
Ouch.
Dude, it doesn't compare. That's more next gen than fucking Ratchet and Clank. That is an amazing game, but goddamn, it's not next gen. And I still have to say, sure, Halo Infinite runs at 4K 60, but that's still arguably not a next gen game, because PC can do that shit in spades. So that's not next gen still.
Yeah, like, it's like, PC is still like kind of ahead of like some of the console stuff. It's like it's still like the console's like trying to keep up with PC stuff,
And it's like those things are like not comparable, dude. Like not comparable. PC versus console is not comparable. PC, especially with the new graphics cards, not comparable. Like you're still gonna have a way better experience on PC. And I'm not saying buy a PC over a console, because Halo Infinite on Series X runs better than PC.
Yeah, like here's the thing. For me, I got Halo Infinite, campaign included, and it is yet to even work on my computer. So it's like and like I'm pretty sure it's a my computer problem, but like I was able to run like the Master Chief Collection and even like GTA 4 or a lot of like other games like that require a lot of CPU usage. And yet Halo Infinite, I have yet to even get that game to run on my PC once. I can guarantee you that once we start playing Destiny 2, it'll actually work on my PC. The only experience I have with Halo Infinite is on Cat's PC. And yeah, it's like it depresses me. It gets to the point where it's like even if I think that PC is the overall better choice to have over consoles in general, like it almost makes me want to prefer getting an Xbox Series X just so I can actually play the fuck out of Infinite, you know?
Yeah, because Infinite is fucking amazing. The campaign, the multiplayer is really good. The only thing that I would say about Infinite is bad is the progression and the armor customization. That's
Yeah.
it.
But other than that, Halo Infinite is probably the best Halo game since the original
It's
trilogy.
the best it's ever felt ever since fucking Halo 3. It's legit what the franchise needed. It's what the franchise needed. And I still will say to this day, it's not comparable to what came out on the PS5. Halo is still better than Ratchet and Clank, and it's still better than Returnal.
And Demon Souls?
It's the same fucking experience, bro. Like, if I played on the PS3, I would have been like, I just wasted $70.
Oh, okay.
I would have still been like, I just
Would you still
wasted
prefer,
$70.
would you still prefer Halo Infinite over Demon Souls though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm playing the fuck out of Infinite. I finished the Battle Pass. I did not buy any tiers. I didn't buy shit. I finished the Battle Pass. I played all of the challenges. I have the fucking samurai armor. Guaranteed it's not complete. It doesn't have any of the add-ons. And I'm just finishing the fucking new event, which is really good because it added a one life mode to Halo Infinite, which is actually really fucking good. And I have to say, ranked on Halo Infinite is amazing. It's really good. It's fucking great. Just
Probably more fun than Overwatch's ranked, I bet.
just that, dude, like, Halo Infinite was the game that the Series X needed. That the Series X had to
The Series
get right.
X and the Halo franchise in general, because Halo was having like a downward spiral after 4, honestly.
If I can tell you that if Halo Infinite was not good, for me, it would have been done.
Halo Infinite was like had a rough patch. Like, do you remember how it was when they first showcased it? It looks pretty bad.
Dude, it was because of Halo Infinite's success that I bought a Series X. I bought the PS5 first. And then people were saying, Halo Infinite is fucking great. It's really fucking good. The campaign is amazing. That's when I was like, okay, I gotta get a Series X.
I gotta see what this shit. It's a console seller again. Look at that.
Because Elder Scrolls 6 was gonna come out on the Series X. Mind you, Starfield 2, I was already gonna get the Series X because of Starfield. Because I want to play Starfield. But I still, if it wasn't for Infinite, I would have not gotten the Series X right now. That's why I have it right now.
Yeah.
And now I'm playing Forza Horizon 5, and it's fucking amazing.
And I can appreciate the fact that the PlayStation 5 has backwards compatibility with the PS4. So like if my PS4 were to like blow up tomorrow, then it's like, all right, cool, I can get a PS5, But it's like I can see the Series X like improving,
it's still not comparable to the backwards compatibility that Xbox has.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say like over time the Series X is gonna have backwards compatibility for all the other 3 systems. It's not gonna be there at launch, but it'll be there. It's gonna progressively add it.
It does.
Really, it does.
It already does. You can fucking play original Xbox games on the Series X.
Jesus. Okay, never mind then. Fuck that. Fuck PS5. I don't know.
It's the dude, like, right now, for me, I'm playing way more on the series, and it's also because of Game Pass. I'm playing way more Series X because of Game Pass, because there's a ton of games that I still haven't played because of PlayStation. Like, I had the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. I never played Gears. I never played Forza before. Right now is that I'm playing Forza Horizon 5. I never played Fable. I never played Dead Space, and it's because of Game
Oh
Pass
yeah.
that I'm finally getting to experience these games.
Alec is still bothering me about Dead Space. He really wants me to play Dead Space.
Yeah, and it's because of Game Pass that I can play all these games, and it's also because of Game Pass that games that I would have never bought with my own money, I'm getting to play. Games like Outer Wilds, games like No Man's Sky, Unravel 2, like games like indie games that I would have never played, I'm playing on Xbox because of Game Pass.
Hmm.
Yeah, and games that I would have never bought with my own money that are really good. The Hitman trilogy, it's on Game Pass. Like, all 3 games are on Game Pass. And
So
even new games that are gonna come out. Starfield is gonna be out on Game Pass day 1. You don't even have to fucking buy Starfield, dude.
and it's not
You
like a
can just
demo, it's like the actual game. You just have like to.
It's the actual game. You can download it and play the game.
And that's actually pretty smart because then it gets people to like, wanting to probably get the full experience, like to actually keep the
Because
game to themselves if they like it or not.
Redfall is gonna come out, Stalker 2, Starfield. Dude, games that I would have never thought to play. I'm playing them right now, and they are really fucking good, and I'm playing them on Game Pass. And right now, which we're gonna get into right now, Microsoft buying Activision.
Oh yeah.
There
Oh
are
boy.
Right now, there are Call of Duty games. Fucking Vanguard. I bought it because I wanted to play with my friends. I fucking hate Vanguard, dude. Vanguard is the worst Call of Duty that has ever come out. Ever. Worse than Ghosts. Worse than Infinite Warfare. The worst. And I can tell you without a doubt, if new Call of Duty games come out on Game Pass, which they are, the new Call of Duty games are going to come out on Game Pass day 1, and all of the Call of Duty games from Call of Duty 1, Marcos, even the game that I want you to play,
Oh
Modern
shit.
Warfare, it's gonna come out on Game Pass.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Okay. Oh.
All of the Call of Duty...
I
Dude,
don't even need to buy
Call
the
of...
game to play it then. I can just play it through Game
Dude,
Pass.
Call of Duty 1 through Call of Duty Vanguard, all of those games are gonna come out.
Oh yeah, because they were
on
like
Game
strong.
Pass.
There was like the earlier Call of Duty games were also like strong. Were also like Xbox.
Dude, you
were
know
they
what that
Xbox?
means?
Yeah, Call of Duty 2 was one of the earlier original Xbox games. I remember, weren't they? Oh no,
Dude,
Xbox
you know what
360. I
that
meant.
means? Dude, you know what that means? That means that older Call of Duties like Black Ops 2 and fucking Modern Warfare 2, their online could come back and thrive.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
That means that like the old Call of Duty games like Black Ops 2, which is my favorite online multiplayer for Call of Duty, could come back and thrive. Black Ops 2 multiplayer could come back, bro.
See that's
Just
where
like-
that's where you get me because I used to play Black Ops 2 a lot with Kat, especially.
Just like Halo 3. Halo 3 on MCC is fucking amazing. I'm playing Halo 3 online and it's fucking great. And now that Black Ops 2 can come back and thrive again, I'm all for that.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Like, I was like really thinking like I was really like indecisive of like between Sony and Xbox, and there's still some part of me that would be like, yeah, I would probably not mind getting the PS5, but it's like the more we keep talking about like the stuff that Microsoft is doing for the Series X and Game Pass, it's like I'm almost like more leaning towards Xbox in this
It's that,
war.
dude, Elder Scrolls 6, when it's coming out, Elder Scrolls 6, day 1 is going to be out on Game Pass. And that is a huge game. You cannot argue with me that, dude, when the year that Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, other games should not come out in that month because I can tell you that nobody is gonna fucking play those other games. They're gonna play Elder Scrolls 6. People have been waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 for a fucking decade, bro.
Yeah, since 2011, that's when Skyrim came out.
Dude.
2011 was such a great year for games at the time.
And that Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna come out on fucking Game Pass? That is huge. That is huge.
Honestly, with Game Pass alone, like, there's no excuse to not play new games.
Exactly, because new titles that I would have never thought I would have played. Stalker 2, I can tell you without a doubt that that's a game that I would have never fucking played if it wasn't out on Game Pass. And now I'm looking at trailers of Stalker 2 and it looks fucking amazing. It's going to be one of the first games that's going to come out in Unreal Engine 5.
Damn, how far we've come.
Dude, Stalker 2 is going to be for free on Game Pass. A game that I would have never thought I would have played. I can tell you that if that game was on PS5 and it was $70,
Fuck that. Fuck that. The $70 shit is what really turns me off, honestly.
I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't fucking play it. I would not fucking play it. Then now it's gonna be on Game Pass. And that's a thing. People are arguing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty this, Call of Duty that. Dude, I can tell you without a doubt that if Call of Duty, and it is, there's no doubt in my mind, if Call of Duty is out on Game Pass, day one, the new Call of Duty, I'm playing it on Game Pass. I'm playing it on Game Pass. It's
because like after Vanguard, since you really hated that game, it's like you want to at least like get the newer Call of Duty games a shot before you start buying it, in case the quality either improves or is at the same level, if not worse, than Vanguard.
That's the thing. Game Pass is coming day one. Call of Duty, day one on Game Pass. Overwatch 2, day one on Game Pass. And Overwatch 2 is probably going to be an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, that's another thing. I wanted to like touch upon this one because this is more my shtick, because I'm like, you know, a fucking Overwatch player, and that's Overwatch 2 has been like an anticipated title since 2019. There's like a few other games that I kind of want to talk about, but Overwatch 2 in particular. The thing about Overwatch, and I'm going to be touching upon some minor controversies, but I'm not going to go too in depth with it. But ever since the Overwatch 2 has been like Overwatch in general has been a really weird state. Like Overwatch 1 is not getting enough content. The most recent character that we got was Echo, who was released in 2020. And ever since then, we haven't gotten like new content or any new characters. The new maps we're getting are just deathmatch exclusives. So Overwatch 1 is like in a state of limbo, and that's because all the focus is being directed to Overwatch 2. And Overwatch 2, while there's some people that are excited for it, there's also some skepticism. For me, it was the introduction of 5v5, removing one tank for having one tank, 2 DPS, and 2 supports. That was my biggest turnoff because I'm a tank player at the end of the day, as you can see with my Winston icon. I guess I'll take a guess who I made in that game. But, you know, with Overwatch 2's multiplayer, it's like I'm very skeptical about it because it's like even if it's all coming into Overwatch 1, at the same time, like I want to see what's the purpose of me even getting Overwatch 2, since all the stuff multiplayer-wise is going to be in the first game. The stuff is the PvE, you know? Like, there's going to be a whole story mode based off around that. There's going to be some more team coordination games where, rather than focusing so much on the PvP, which will be in its own design stuff, but there's a more focus on PvE. I think even Dunkey said, imagine if Overwatch 2 was like similar to Left 4 Dead, like the game would be a huge success, because like a game where a lot of people are already seeing it as a, you know, just a normal expansion pass to Overwatch 1, which I don't blame them for thinking that. Overwatch 2 needs to have like its own identity. And it doesn't help the fact that a lot of people left the company Blizzard, not only because of, you know, the main person in charge, Jeff Kaplan, had left Overwatch like a year ago, I believe, or almost a year ago. And he was behind Overwatch since day one, and the fact that he's not behind, it's like the George Lucas and the Zack Snyder stuff all over again, you know? You're losing that creative freedom. And then with all the allegations I was having with Blizzard, many people have left the company. It's so much so to the point that fucking McCree was named after one of those employees, so they actually had to give him a new name entirely. His new name is now Cole Cassidy. But it's like, right now, Blizzard, or at least Overwatch, is in a weird state of limbo. Everything from Overwatch 1 is being put on hiatus because of the development of Overwatch 2, and a lot of people are not sure if Overwatch 2 is even going to be, worth the hype. But with Microsoft now owning Blizzard, not only will they not have to worry about getting people to actually work for Blizzard because of little employment options, but now Microsoft can lend extra hands to work on the game and can even hopefully polish the multiplayer a lot more, and the PvE would be even better. I have hopes for Overwatch 2 since Overwatch 2 has mostly been popular on PC. Will it bother? There's like a big part of me that would be a little bit bothered that it would be an Xbox exclusive since he had just announced crossplay, and crossplay was like my favorite thing that they added in the game next to the roll queue.
All Xbox games are coming out on PC.
Yeah, no, I know that. Like, I know it's going to be crossplay between PC and Xbox, but I'm talking about like the people that had it on PlayStation, for instance. It doesn't bother me personally. It just sucks to like people who are not usually Xbox players. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and they want you to buy their consoles. Otherwise, it's just going to be.
I think that my brother's a really big Overwatch fan, and one of the things with Overwatch is that people that have Overwatch 1 can play the multiplayer of Overwatch 2.
Just not the PvE. But like
just not the PvE stuff.
But that's where
that's the thing. Like, if you want to play the PvE stuff, then you gotta buy an Xbox. You know what I mean?
You gotta buy the game, and you gotta buy the Xbox or PC, and then buy the game. But it's like that's why I appreciate that now with this in mind, like it makes me appreciate.
You don't even have to buy the game. You know what I mean?
But here's
Game Pass.
Here's the thing. Like that's another thing I appreciate about Game Pass. But like as cool as that would be for Overwatch 1 players, like there's always like some part of me that it's like at the end of the day, I would have just preferred if Overwatch 1 would have stayed on limbo, because it's like there are some things that I'm still not in agreement with Overwatch 2. Like I still don't like the 5v5 approach, but at the same time, for those that are unable to get the Xbox Series X or Overwatch 2 because it'll be an Xbox exclusive, now they can have the chance to play the new map, the new characters, and the 5v5 in Overwatch 1. They just need to play the PvE. They just won't be able to play PvE. I'm curious, though, like, if we would still be able to play with each other, for instance, like, since Overwatch 2... No, actually, I think it is just the PvE, because we can still play the PvP. Yeah.
I mean, dude, I have an Xbox, and you have a PlayStation. I mean, you have a PC.
Yeah, it's a PC that also runs Overwatch really well, which I don't know why Halo Infinite doesn't run well. It doesn't work at all on my PC when I could play fucking Overwatch here. I can't record it. Don't get me wrong. Like it drops frames like crazy if I hit the record button, but it doesn't matter. Like I enjoy Overwatch the game, like just to play on my own time, But and then. My other thing, which I never thought in my 25 years of existence would I ever say this out loud, but fucking Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, who were Sony mascots, or as my good friend Gene says, my favorite furry games. They were Sony furry. They were Sony furry games at first, and now they're Xbox. Now they're Xbox furry games. What the frick?
They were Sony furry mascots.
I was already weirded out the fact that Insane came out on Xbox One anyway, but it's like now they're Microsoft exclusives. What the fuck? What the hell? I literally grew up with them. I played those both Crash and Spyro when I was 5 on my PS1 or PS2 with backwards compatibility. Now they're Xbox exclusives? What?
I mean, that's just great, bro.
It's interesting. Like, it's interesting because it's like how far, it's so crazy to me, And
so
honestly,
that's the thing, bro. Like the same thing with the 360 and the PS3. Like with the 360, you needed both. Like in my opinion, you needed both.
Yeah, like honestly, I can't even just have one. I can't even have one. Like I would like to experience both. Fuck Nintendo. I don't care about Nintendo.
Like right now, you need PS5 and Xbox Series X because, dude, God of War is coming out. God of War Ragnarok is this year. And Horizon Forbidden West is coming out as well. So, I don't know about you, but also Starfield is coming out this year. You know what I mean? Like, you need both. Like, you need you need both. You need an Xbox and a PS5.
You can't just
you
leave
need
it. It's like it's back to the console wars back in the PS3 and 360. Like,
Like,
they're both on top again, and I like it.
because PS5 has the really fucking good blockbuster exclusive games, but Xbox has really fucking amazing games like Doom, Elder Scrolls. The new Fallout is gonna be exclusive to
Yep.
Xbox.
And here's the thing, like even looking at this in hindsight, like I didn't even realize like now that Xbox has those IPs, it seems like I'm more of an Xbox player now because like if you look at my fucking favorite games, Halo, Doom, Fallout, like all those, and even Crash now and Spyro, I guess, like because now they're owned by now they're
and
yeah.
Phil Spencer said that he doesn't just want to make Call of Duty. Now that Activision is part of Microsoft, Call of Duty's not going to come out every year.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my god.
Call
no
of
way.
Duty's yeah, once the Microsoft acquisition happens, the last game for Call of Duty that's going to come out is 2024, which is rumored to be a Warzone 2. Which, now, let's talk about Call of Duty exclusivity.
Okay.
Personally, I feel like it's going to happen. I'm not in denial anymore.
Oh yeah, no, like they're definitely going to keep Call of Duty to themselves.
Call of Duty's going to be exclusive, man. Like, you cannot be in denial.
I mean, to be honest with you, back then, I wasn't Call of Duty, like, more popular on Xbox anyway on the 360 days. Like, at least, like, average...
Yeah,
more,
with
the exception of PC.
Right now, 70% of the player base is on PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
But let's talk for real. I think that either two things are going to happen. Either one of two things. Either you still have to buy Call of Duty on PlayStation, and like the new Call of Duty is going to come out on PlayStation as well, but you either have to choose between two things. Either you play it for free on the Xbox, you play it on Game Pass, or you have to pay $70 fucking to play the new Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Especially with Warzone. Oh shit.
You have to either play it on Game Pass, like you play it for free. You still have the option to buy it on Xbox, don't get me wrong, and it's still $70. Like the Call of Duty is still $70. But Game Pass or buy it for $70 fucking dollars on the PS5.
You get a guarantee you get to play it.
I don't know about you, but I'm one of those free motherfuckers.
Yeah, no. Well, dude, I used to play PS3. Dude, PS3 was my main console because of free online. Of course, I'm a free motherfucker.
Or Xbox. The new Call of Duty games are going to come out only on Xbox. But PlayStation is going to keep Warzone. Because you have to keep in mind, Warzone is this big thing. Like, 100 million players are on Warzone, and 70% of that player base is on PlayStation. Call of Duty Vanguard, the new Call of Duty, only 4 million people play that shit. So it's literally probably like 2 or 3% of the people that play Warzone play Vanguard. That's not a big lot of people. So that's what I think is going to happen. Personally, I feel like the new Call of Duty games are going to be Xbox exclusive. But Warzone is going to stay on PlayStation. The rumor is that the last Call of Duty game that's going to come out on PlayStation for now, because we don't know anything yet, is going to be a Warzone 2, which is a revamp of Warzone. It's going to add new modes, new maps, new shit. And there's rumors that an Escape from Tarkov mode is coming to Modern Warfare 2. I have no doubt that they're going to put that on Warzone as well. And that's the thing. Warzone is another big giant, which I think that what's going to stay on PlayStation is Warzone. But all of the other Call of Duties are going to be exclusive to Xbox.
You know, one other thing that they could do, unless they wanted to do the exclusive game, but if they still wanted to release games like Overwatch or Call of Duty to like multi-platforms. They could do something, but like
Overwatch is coming exclusive.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, if they were to do multi-platforms, like if they were to release their games multi-platforms and not keep them to themselves, one thing that they could do is something similar to what Activision did with Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled when it came out on PlayStation 4, is that they would have exclusive content for that version alone. For Crash Team Racing, all three companies got the game, like PS4, Switch, Xbox One, but PS4 has a couple of exclusive things, such as the retro skins, which is it's how the Crash Bandicoot characters looked back in the PS1 days, and a new stage called Retro Stadium, which, it's just it's Turbo Track, but, the old design, but, like, something more or less like that, like having exclusive content for that system alone because they own it, or in the case for Crash Bandicoot, he was more known for the PlayStation days, which is why I feel like I entered into some alternate universe or just went into a coma now that Crash is now owned by Microsoft.
And here's another thing that a lot of people are not talking about. The Xbox Series S is a thing, and it's $300.
Really? Wow, it's so cheap.
Dude, you should buy the Xbox Series S.
We'll see. I'll have to consider it because I don't have a lot of space for consoles. I wasn't even sure if I'm even going to get another console unless my PS4 dies.
The Series S is really small. Like, it's the smallest
console
Let me
see
ever.
Let me see it.
Yeah,
I want to see
it's
it.
the smallest console. Dude.
It really is small.
I have the Series S too. I also have the Series S, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You should definitely buy it. You should play. That's where I play Halo and all of these other backwards compatible games. You are not going to be dissatisfied. Dude, you literally buy the console for $300 and then you fucking buy Game Pass. That's it. That's all you get. That's it.
Well, that's interesting.
You don't have to buy anything else. That's another thing that a lot of people are not considering. If you have a PlayStation 5, you can literally buy a Series S and play Xbox games on the Series S. You don't have to just have the Series X. Because Phil Spencer also considered people that are going to buy the PS5 and things that they want, they can literally just buy the Series S. And
wow.
And the reason why it costs $300 is because it's less powerful than the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But it runs games at 1440p. That's its max resolution. It runs games at 2K. 1440p, 60 frames per second.
Okay, as long as it has a consistent frame rate, honestly, I don't like that's already enough to sell me, honestly.
That's really good. That's really good. That alone. And, dude, Jesus Christ, you can buy the Series S for $300. And look this up, Marcos. The Series S was the best-selling console of Black Friday.
Wow.
You can look that up right now. And a lot of people can argue, oh, you can only get the Series S right now. The PS5 isn't even available. The Series X isn't even available. Yeah, you can argue with that. But nobody is gonna fucking buy something that they don't want.
That's another thing. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize. I think everybody is aware of this, but we don't really talk about it that much. Is the fact that once we get a new system, like having to buy games on top of that, like it's kind of difficult. Like, it gets to the point where, with the exception of some people, like the libraries of games have gotten smaller, as like with the PS4, for instance, at least for some people.
And the Series S, you can literally just get Game Pass and you have new games. Play Halo Infinite, play Forza. And I can guarantee you that you can play Xbox Series S games you can play Halo Infinite way better than you could on your PC, Marcos.
Probably. At this rate, I probably might. And it has crossplay, so it's like we can probably play it with. I can probably play it with Kat either way.
Yeah, and you can play it with Kat. You can play it with me. You can play at 1440p, 60 frames per second. And as long as it's at 60 frames per second, it's really good.
Hey, do you want to hear something really funny, actually, Gene? We were just talking about, like, if my PS4 would ever blow up, I would get a PS5. But one thing I will say that did happen is that my cable for my Xbox 360 actually stopped working. And I remembered I was even talking to Kat about this, that it's like maybe I should even consider getting an Xbox X at the time because it's like, hey, it was backwards compatible with 360 and the
You
original,
should
and I
get
wasn't
the
sure. I
S.
wasn't
You should
sure.
get the S.
I wasn't sure if the Series S was backwards compatible at the time, but now with
It is.
everything that you mentioned, it's like, huh. It's like now I'm just thinking back about that conversation that I had with Kat, and it's like, wow, the more I think about it, the less
And
I would get an Xbox One X and more the Series S, Especially if it's like
you
$300. That's actually a pretty good price for a console.
and dude, the Series S is better than the One X, and it's cheaper.
I figured it would be better than One X.
It's better and it's cheaper. So you should definitely get the Series S, in my opinion, because it's just a really another thing that people don't really consider. If you want to play PS5 games and Series X games at the best quality, you need a 4K TV. And it's like, how many people right now have access to a 4K TV?
You know
For
how many
real.
people? Yeah, I don't have that, and even my friends, like my friends and my family, would tell me like, "Hey, you should get you should get, a bigger TV screen." Because like my TV screen is like 720, and I'm fine with my TV, but it's like, even I don't have a 4K TV for like some systems like that.
So it's like on the PS5, yeah, you can play 4K, but you're not going to see a 4K display. You're going to see it at your TV's display.
Yeah.
So it's like the Series S, which is more compatible with my TV, and I can see 1440p really, really good, versus the PS5, which is like $500, and I can't even see the 4K display. And even if if the refresh rate on my TV is not 120, I'm not gonna be experiencing games at 120 frames per second. So even then, it's like, dude, get the Series S. More compatible with your TV. Your TV 60 hertz. Just fucking buy the Series S already, because you're gonna be looking at games really well. And sure, a lot of people can say that 4K is really good, 4K game is really good, and it is. But dude, how many people have 4K TVs? Are you
Yeah.
literally gonna buy a $500 console and then buy a $500 TV? And
Yeah.
then you're gonna be missing out on whatever the fuck Xbox is doing. So it's like you're literally wasting money at that point. And it's your money. Waste it however you want.
Yeah, but like
But
be
for
smart with
me,
it.
I value my money. And look, you have to buy PS5 $500. You have to buy the 4K TV $500, and you have to buy $70 games.
Damn, that's $70. Shit, that hurts. I mean, like, yeah,
That's already like $1,112 that you
that's
just
just for one game.
spent, and
that's
that's
if
just for one game.
that's if you want to get the fucking Miles Morales games or God of War Ragnarok when
And
it
that's
comes
the
out.
thing. If you already played those games on the PS4, you're literally gonna buy those games again for $70,
But aren't they? But
$10
they're
more
backwards.
than you would have already bought it at PS4.
But you can still like get like technically speaking, even if you get the PS4 version, couldn't it still be playable on PS5?
It's playable on the PS5, but here's another thing: Xbox. When you play a game on the Series S or X, it downloads the best version, because it has smart delivery, and Xbox also introduced something called FPS Boost. So if a game is
Oh.
running at 60 frames per second with FPS Boost, you can play it at 120 frames per second. PS5, there are some games that are backwards compatible for PS4, but you have to spend $10 to actually get the upgrade.
Hmm.
So if you're playing on the PS5 and you have a PS4 game, you're going to play the PS4 version of that game. Whereas if you buy the Xbox and you play an Xbox 360 game, you're going to be playing that 360 game at fucking 120 frames per second for
Damn.
free.
For free. Oh man. Xbox is.
So it's like Xbox is already 10 steps ahead of what Sony's already doing.
So now Sony's the one taking the baby steps.
Where Sony is ahead in exclusive games, because a lot more people are excited for God of War than they are Starfield, because Starfield is a new IP, that Bethesda is doing. And God of War is a game that a masterpiece. It's
It's a
built off
sequel
of a
to
masterpiece.
it's a sequel to like one of the biggest
So
games of
it's like
2018.
more people are excited for God of War than they are Starfield, and more people are excited for Horizon than they are Stalker 2.
You know, it's
So
funny.
Sony is ahead of the game when it comes to exclusives, but Xbox is ahead of the game when it comes to playing the games at better frame rate and literally cheaper.
You know, it's funny. Like, I was also looking up like all the companies that Microsoft owns, and they were actually trying to buy Square Enix at one point, but Square Enix but they didn't like establish a deal with Square Enix. And I'm just like thinking of another alternate time, like where fucking Kingdom Hearts becomes an Xbox exclusive, and I was about to go insane.
Dude,
But
like
it's
that's the thing. Like right now, I cannot tell you which one is better because there are so many things that Xbox is doing right, and there are so many things that PlayStation is doing right. Granted, I feel like Xbox is doing way more good stuff for the gaming industry than PlayStation because they fucking introduced $70 games, bro.
yeah.
Like already with $70 games, what the fuck?
Not only that, but like I
And
think the thing what Sony does that like I have a lot of friends that love a lot of story focused games like Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, like those games like those story driven games, but they've always been like Sony products, like I don't know. That's where I think you even said it yourself. Like where Sony excels is like the blockbuster experience.
and
Whereas
also and also if you get an Xbox, crossplay is being introduced, so you literally don't have to buy the same console as your friends if you want to play online with them.
honestly,
So it's like
crossplay is a blessing. I hate like
you don't have so it's like before I have to get the same console as my friends because then I'm not going to be able to
That's
play with
exactly
them.
what led to me getting Overwatch on the Switch in the first place. Had it not been for that, I would have never bought that version. I hated the Switch version of Overwatch.
So now it's like you can just play if you buy Xbox, you can literally play with PlayStation people, and you can also play with Switch people and all other people. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I
That's
remember.
amazing.
I remember when I
And
was
here's
babe.
another thing. Here's another thing. Microsoft doesn't really give a fuck how many Xboxes they sell because they're making money out of number one Game Pass and number two PCs.
Yeah, I was gonna say like like I know a lot of people would say that Microsoft is like on the losing end because you don't own you don't
It's
buy the
like,
Xbox, but it's like
dude,
with games like on Steam, like
it's not like we're living in the fucking 2001 where the console market is like holy shit the this is where we make our money.
I mean,
Right
yeah, it's like
now
look at it. Like we're
Microsoft,
using PCs right now, made by fucking Microsoft. So it's like, who's the winner now at the end of the day?
dude, like Microsoft has they literally make the PCs that we all buy, and they make number one the Xbox, and number two they make money off of Game Pass, where it's like they released that 25 million people are playing on Game Pass right now. So that literally equates to $250 million a month that Microsoft is getting.
Yeah,
$250 million a month alone. And not just and also like when PlayStation sells a console, how much money do you think they're getting? Probably like $2 off a sale. That's not that much. That's not that much. If you really look into it, how much money they get off a console nowadays is not compared to how much money they would have gotten before. Because right now, and also like you can't even really get a PS5 because the chips are so fucking hard to get.
yeah, like especially at the time because like PS5 came out at like an awkward moment because of the pandemic and everything. But then even
And
scalpers
here's
got their hang
also
of the
another
PS.
and here's also another thing. Like PlayStation 5 sales, how many of those sales are fucking scalpers, dude?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, honestly.
It
And then they
not
sell it for
even
any,
real people.
and then they sell
How
it for an even
how
bigger
many
price.
sales are scalpers? Also for the Series X, how many fucking of those sales are scalpers? You know? So it's like console sales really that has nothing to do right now because number one, scalpers are getting most of the consoles, and number two, Microsoft doesn't even give a fuck how many consoles they sell because number one, they got Game Pass, and number two, they're making money off of PC.
Yeah, it's almost like
And
would you say
I saw the market value and I saw the net worth of Microsoft and Sony is like $150 billion. Microsoft is $2.5 trillion.
damn son? I have a question. Would you say that because of Microsoft, like because of the PC industry, would you say there really even is a point to even buying an Xbox when you could probably play? You can. I'm assuming you can play Game Pass on PC, right?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, would you say that there's even a purpose of getting? I think this is one of the biggest criticisms that people have with Xbox in general is that there really is no point in getting an Xbox at all when you could just play it on PC. I think you've even said that before with the Xbox One.
I mean,
but
dude,
what?
it's like I do have to say this. Like, I really don't agree with that statement because a PC is like a big investment. You have to
Yeah.
spend like at least $1,200 on a really good gaming desktop versus just getting a Xbox Series S, which is $300, or an Xbox Series X, which is $500. And also, you have the accessibility. Like, that's one thing that a lot of PC gamers don't want to talk about is accessibility. You have to. You can just plug and play. Like, plug in the Xbox, play games.
Yeah, with us PC players, like we
PC,
have like a lot of
you have
technical
to-
shits.
You have to wait for the PC to boot up. You have to wait for Steam to boot up. You have to wait for the launcher of the game to boot up, and then you have to really pray to God that your PC doesn't blow up to shit.
Which, don't get me wrong, once it does work, it's amazing. But there is a lot of
It
complications
is,
to get.
and you have a lot of like the best place to play games is PC, no doubt. But one of the big selling points for me is accessibility. Just plug in the console and play the game. That's it. And a controller. I can shit you not, I literally played mouse and keyboard Splitgate. I've been trying to like really learn how to play with mouse and keyboard, and still I'm still learning, but I still prefer console. Like, don't get me wrong, mouse and keyboard, if you really learn mouse and keyboard, the skill gap on mouse and keyboard is way bigger than on controller. There's no cap. But just controller is just so easy to learn because it's just like so natural to me. Versus mouse and keyboard, where you have to learn, you have to bind your key, you have to have different key binds, you have to like do a lot of technical shit. And for me, it's like I have so many stuff that I got to deal with where right now I cannot learn mouse and keyboard.
For me,
I have
like
so many other things to do with my life than to learn just mouse and keyboard. And also, like, the PC that I have is a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
You know, it's not comparable to like a fucking gaming desktop.
For me, for me at least, like I think controllers are a lot more natural to me because I think in arcades especially, and I think I can speak for almost everybody, unless you know, there are a few people that grew up with PC and arcades, but like for us on average, I think most of us grew up with consoles. So
I grew up on fucking console and playing
like the
PlayStation on my TV, and it's like for me, controller's better.
Yeah, a controller is. I think for me, I don't think it's better. I just think it's more natural to me. Like hell, I was trying to play Overwatch on PC in comparison to how I would play on PlayStation, because there's now crossplay where you can even play with PC players on Quick Play. What they did is that like for console players, they turn off aim assists. So you can play up against PC players, but without aim assists and console players. And I think personally, I play better on Overwatch with my console with no aim assist than I do playing on PC. At least because I'm more used to it, you know? Like, I've been playing Overwatch since 2019 on my PS4, and then it's like having to play with mouse and keyboards and adapt to it, like, it takes a little bit, you know? Especially when there's so many fucking buttons to memorize. So it's like, for me, I don't think it's better. I just think it comes more natural to me. Like, I feel like I could get the hang of playing Overwatch with no aim assist on consoles, then I can get into it quicker, and I have, because I have played with no aim assist. But every time I play with PC players, like with Kat, for instance, you know, because Kat plays Overwatch now on her PC, so I'm used to playing it without any aim assist.
For me also, like, there's a lot of things that, like, because if I want to upgrade, let's say I buy a PC, you know, like, I have to worry about so many other things, like, other than just play the game. I have to, let's say I want to upgrade to the new graphics card. Let's say I have a 2080 Ti. I have to worry about wondering if it's compatible or not to the motherboard. And for me, it's not going to be that hard to learn. But at the same time, number one, right now, I don't have the money to buy a PC. Number two, like,
It's a whole investment, really.
I want to learn that, but it's a huge investment. And right now I just can't afford that.
There's a YouTuber that I used to watch. There's a YouTuber that not used to. I still watch him. His name is Cat Icarus, and he was describing his experience with PC building, and like, especially since this is like during pandemic years, you know, like trying to do PC building in the year 2021 at the time. He said it was like the most hellish experience ever because he's never done it by himself, and the only advice that he can have is someone like online, you know. So even that whole experience, and the fact that he was like behind on making videos and streaming, it's like, and with multiple problems just so he can get it to work. And mind you, it isn't just for playing games; it's for streaming and shit. And it's like, it was time consuming, and it was hell for him, and it was expensive too. You know, he had invested like almost like $10,000s. You know,
because like for me, I really want to get into like mouse and keyboard first person shooters. Like, I really want to get into that. I really want to learn how to play with mouse and keyboard and like play like that. But it's just like right now I just can't afford that. For right now I can't afford it.
It's a whole investment. So yeah.
And it's like with controllers, it's like if you really want to get into a competitive game like Call of Duty or Halo, like when you have a controller, you also have to like probably invest in a pro controller, like controllers that have like back buttons.
Personally, like, competitive games is like an afterthought to me, because it's like, you know, as a kid, obviously as a teenager, like, I was like super interested in like Super Smash Bros. Melee, and even to some extent I still like really enjoy Overwatch competitive play. But then it's like overall, like, the whole that's a whole nother investment in itself, you know.
Yeah, like getting into competitive games, like buying a pro control, like a SCUF controller or something like that, you know, and that's like a $200 controller. And I bought one for PS4 for playing Warzone. It broke after 2 weeks of use.
Damn.
And that sucks. It sucks. Like buying something and then it breaks after 2 weeks. That is not good. It sucks. And then to think that a fucking 7-year-old kid that's playing Fortnite has the discount code for Nick Mercs and buys a fucking $200 controller and has a way better advantage than you. And it's like, you know you're better, but it's that this fucking kid or this like 30-year-old, whatever the fuck, plays the game, has a better controller than you, and beats your ass. Just because they had like that small advantage over you.
A small advantage that makes a big difference. There's a very similar story with how to get into competitive Melee. Like, I love that game to death, especially in its competitive depth. But learning the advanced techniques, no joke, the way to get into that game competitively, you actually have to get a malfunctioning controller and create notches on your GameCube controller to even get it to function properly.
It's like things that mouse and keyboard players can do already because they have all these keys and like you have the mouse, obviously, like you can jump while you're moving your character, like jump or like go prone, like drop shot, jump shot, all these different things that mouse and keyboard players can do. You have to invest in a $200 controller or try to play claw to even do that on a
Or
controller.
yeah, and even looking into fighting games, like if it like fucking fighting sticks are ergonomically better controllers, like than than like having playing with a generic controller, at least for yeah, ergonomically at least. But it's like, again, that's like a whole nother investment to go through. Like
And it's
things,
like,
these are
what
just
other
this is
games
just
are you gonna play with that controller other than a
exactly
shooter?
like for me, I would like for
Other
me.
than a competitive shooter.
And what other game would you play like an arcade stick besides like for like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Tekken? Like I remember back then
Exactly.
when I had just met you, like there was like I really wanted to like invest in like an arcade stick to get you for your birthday, but it's like I first of all I was still broke, so I never got around to it. But it's like I also like gave thought like this is like when you were playing Mortal Kombat 11 at the time. Like besides Mortal Kombat 11, you wouldn't be using the arcade stick.
And I was shitting all over people in Mortal Kombat. And you know that I was really into Mortal Kombat 11. I grinded
Yeah.
the shit out of that game. I got everything, really.
Yeah. But yeah, but it's like if you would have like got an arcade stick, like it would have only been used for that game because I don't think you're
And
playing.
like another big thing for me, like a controller. Like, what controller am I gonna use? Like, for fighting games, I can tell you that for real, the Xbox controller feels better. The Series X controller feels better for me playing fighting games
Really?
than on the PS5, because the PS5 D-pad
Oh,
is like meshed together and it's like pretty trash. But the Xbox D-pad is like a circular wheel D-pad,
hmm.
and it's really good
It's
for
it's so
fighting
funny.
games.
It's so funny you say that because I like with the PS3, with the other two systems, I would always say that the Sony consoles were better to play fighting games on. More speaking as a Mortal Kombat player, at least, like I would play Mortal Kombat preferably on PS3 or PS4, but
But
I always hated playing it
playing
on Xbox.
but playing single player games like, for example, Ratchet and Clank or Returnal, or story games, action adventure story games, they're better at playing them with a PS5 controller because of the features, adaptive triggers and
Yeah,
haptic feedback and stuff like that. And it's really cool to play like that. But if I'm playing a shooter, I'm taking out those fucking adaptive triggers because they suck
yeah,
on like competitive shooter. But if I'm playing like a single player, like if I'm playing the campaign of Call of Duty, I want those adaptive triggers on because it adds so much immersion. And that's the thing, like, if I want to play with an Xbox controller, obviously I can't play it on the PS5 unless I have an adapter for it. And it's like, wow.
yeah.
Like, buying an Xbox and buying a PS5 really opened my eyes to how I prefer playing. And it's like I prefer playing with different controllers on different games. Mind you, I have the Xbox Elite controller and I love playing with that controller, my shooters. But PlayStation doesn't have a Pro controller. That they have like third-party companies like Scuff and like all of these other companies, but dude, like, it's not made by Sony. I want a controller that is made by Sony, that is made by them, that I can trust, because I trust Sony more than I trust fucking Scuff.
Yeah.
And I trust Sony more to make a controller rather than Scuff. And I want them so bad to make like a PS5 Pro controller, because the PS5 controller is fucking amazing. It's the best PlayStation controller I've ever felt. Because the PS3 controller felt like a Happy Meal toy. PS4 controller was an upgrade to that Happy Meal toy, but it's still so much smaller for my hands.
I like the PS4. I think I like the PS4 controller. I mean, like, to be honest with you, I kind of like all the DualShock controllers. Like, even though the PS3 is exactly similar to what we already had with the PS2 controller, like, I still have my guilty pleasures. But I do agree
I
on the
like it,
I do
but
agree on the
the
Happy Meal thing.
Xbox controller is just so much better. The Xbox controller, how it feels, is so much better. The
Is this?
360
Yeah, I was
controller
gonna say
is the
360.
best controller, and the Xbox One controller is an upgrade to that controller, and it feels amazing.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think I still prefer the Xbox 360 controller over the One
Now,
controller.
I have the Xbox Elite controller, Marcos, and I have to say that it's the best controller I've ever felt.
But wait, no, no,
The
no.
Elite.
I meant comparing the 360 controller to the One controller. I meant to say.
The Series controller's better
Okay.
because it has like a plastic grip on it, and it feels better.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, but one has to like learn it. One like so. There, if you take the main takeaway on this video is try both if you ever can. You know, because it's like it's probably now worth trying both
It's that right
PlayStation and
now,
Xbox.
like, and that's the thing. Like, PS4 was just the clear winner.
Yeah.
But right now, it's if you do not have both, you're either gonna miss out on so many things because in my opinion, if you don't have an Xbox, you're missing out on Game Pass, man. You're literally missing out. There are thousands of games on Game Pass that you can literally play for free. Dude, Kingdom Hearts 3 was on Game Pass.
God damn it. Oh my lord! Imagine I cannot like playing Kingdom Hearts on an Xbox controller. That's something that I never thought I would ever do.
Dude, Kingdom Hearts 3 was on Game Pass. And just literally, if you don't have Game Pass, you're missing out. But also, if you don't have a PS5, you're also missing out because, like, the features on that controller are just, like, really good. The adaptive triggers are really fucking good. I played Ratchet and Clank, and that's literally the best the controller's ever felt.
It's very difficult. I'm actually really glad how neutral we are with these conversations. Like we don't show too much bias on like one side over the other, but it's like we do talk about like the best feature of both, and it's like that's the thing. Like there's a lot of like really good stuff that Microsoft is doing with Xbox now, and it's like now with this exclusivity, and it's like
And here's the thing, like, if you have the option of if you already have a PS5 and you want to get a Switch, don't get one. Get the Xbox.
you learn from Gene's mistake.
Get the Xbox. Get the Series S. If you have, and here's the thing, if you have a PS5, you should get a Series S. You know what I mean? Because Microsoft offers a way for you to get into the next gen consoles the cheapest way possible. $300. It has Game Pass. You can play all of the new games. They run really fucking great. They look great, and it's not that bad. Honestly, it was the number one selling Black Friday console for a reason. You have to look it up.
Yeah, I looked it up.
It was the number one selling console in Black Friday. And here's another thing. Not everybody is going to buy something that they don't want. If the Series S is available and that's the only thing that's available, if I don't want it, I'm not going to get it. If I never wanted it, I'm not going to get it. That's a big thing. That's the argument that a lot of people have. Like, oh, it was the only console available. No. People are not going to buy something that they don't want.
Yeah, I agree.
If the Wii U was available, would you buy a Wii U?
No. At the time, no. The only reason why I would even buy the Wii U was because of Smash 4 at the time.
See?
And even
you know?
the only reason why I would get it now is because it has Virtual Console, which the Switch lacks, and the Wii's closed down. So it's like, oh, I still see some benefits towards the Wii U that I didn't appreciate at the time. But at the time when the Wii did have the Virtual Consoles and all that stuff, and I could play old games on it, no, I wouldn't have gotten the Wii U.
You see? So nobody's going to buy something that they don't want. The Series S is a banger of a console. $300, and Game Pass. That's it. I have literally not bought a single game for Xbox. And that's because they're all on Game Pass, bro. They're all on Game Pass. All the games that I want to play are on Game Pass. And it's like, how much money have I wasted on the PlayStation versus the Xbox? I literally just wasted $315 on the Xbox. Versus PlayStation 5, I probably wasted right now $700 on the PlayStation 5.
For the system
Why?
for the system and the games and
Because
possibly
the
controllers.
system and the games, and I also bought a second controller for the PS5.
Yep, there you go.
So it's like, dude, I haven't wasted fuck any money for the Xbox, and the PlayStation 5. Almost wasted $1,000 only on
yeah,
it.
even let me look at Kedikris's title. Even he spent a shitload of money, and this is when the PS5 launched. When most of the games that it did came out for was also on PS4.
And dude, next month.
He said, this is literally the title of his video. I spent $1,200 on a console with no games. That was when the PS5 launched, and that was him trying to get the system in an environment when it was almost impossible to get, plus controllers, plus games, and and games that were already on PS4 anyway. So
yeah, bro. So right now, I would say if you were on a budget, you only had $500, and you don't have any more money, I would definitely say get the Series S and then buy Game Pass, and there you go. You have a ton of games. But if you had $1,000, then I would say literally buy the PS5 and a Series S. You're literally not missing out on anything.
Okay. And now I think the next big question that we have here is what comes next. What comes next? Does Sony have a big plan to try and fight Microsoft with, should Sony do something similar, or
I've seen some videos on people wanting Sony to buy another studio. Me personally, I don't want that to happen because that's probably... it's not that it's going to make things worse. It's that it's going to be okay, well, now there's no third-party games to play. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, there would be no more multi-platform games.
I think that Sony should focus on making their quality exclusives, where this is the only place you can play God of War, this is the only place you can play Horizon, this is the only place you can play Spider-Man. They should really play that card.
Especially now, with After No Way Home.
And Wolverine, that's another game, Wolverine.
Oh yeah, Wolverine.
And the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
So wait, that's on. Oh wait, that's PlayStation exclusive?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought. Wait, what? Wouldn't that be Xbox exclusive? Because that was Knights of the Old Republic was only. But that's so strange to me. Knights of the Old Republic used to be Xbox and PC.
It's a PlayStation exclusive now.
Damn.
Well, that's the thing. Because I think that they should really do some wacky shit. Because if Microsoft is gonna... There's also another thing. Sony is gonna come out with their own Game Pass. That's one of the first things I should think that they're gonna do. Make their own Game Pass. But here's the thing. There have been leaks coming out that PlayStation 5 games are not gonna be out on Game Pass, and that sucks.
Mm.
The only games that are going to be out on Game Pass are going to be... The leaks was that there are going to be 3 tiers of the Game Pass. The first tier is PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus together. That's the first tier.
Okay.
Then the leak also said that Tier 2 was going to be PlayStation 4 games only and PlayStation 5 games. And the last tier, which is probably the tier that's going to cost more money, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1.
Oh.
So
Oh.
it's like waste more money for the thing that you want. It's like, god fucking damn it.
It's like the opposite of
It's like
Game
the
Pass.
opposite of what Game Pass is doing. You get everything that Game Pass offers for $10. If you want Game Pass on PC and cross saves from PC and Xbox, you get Game Pass Ultimate, which is $15. That is it. That's it. And if you get Game Pass Ultimate, it already has Live and Gold. So it's like PlayStation. I'm not gonna say that that's what's gonna happen, but that's what was leaked, is that they're gonna be separate tiers of Game Pass, and that PlayStation 5 games are not even gonna be available on Game Pass on PlayStation Game Pass day one. So you still have to buy $70 PlayStation 5 games.
But at least you can play PlayStation 2, 3, and 1 games.
But that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna be a Game Pass competitor, one of the big things that Game Pass has is Game Pass Day 1, where you can literally play the new Xbox exclusives or Xbox games on Day 1 on Game Pass. When it comes out, the date it comes out, literally you can just play it. But PlayStation Game Pass, it was leaked that PlayStation 5 games are going to come later, after its life cycle, after the game's life cycle. So it's like, great, I spent $70 on this game, but then it's going to be out for free after probably like a year of playing the game.
Yeah.
And other than that, the tier 3 is going to have what I want from Game Pass, which is PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, and PlayStation 1 games.
But it's probably going to be but it's easily the most expensive.
And here's another thing that a lot of people don't talk about. PlayStation Now, you know who manages that?
Who?
Microsoft, you dimwit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So Sony literally pays Microsoft to manage PlayStation Now because Microsoft are the ones that have the cloud gaming service.
Oh.
Not Sony.
Oh, boy. Who would have thought
So
Microsoft was the laughing stock, and then turns out Microsoft was on the top the entire time.
That's what a lot of people don't want to talk about. Microsoft are the ones that manage cloud gaming. That's why Google made their own. They made Stadia, and it sucked. Microsoft has it, and it's pretty good.
Well, so there you go.
So, it's like PlayStation Now is a service managed by fucking Microsoft. Or I don't know if it's managed by Microsoft or if Sony just pays Microsoft to have access to cloud gaming. I don't know if it's that. If it is that, then I wouldn't be surprised. But if Microsoft manages PlayStation Now, then it's like, what? Oh, wow.
What? No. They have a happening moment right there.
But I don't know if it's the other way around. That's the thing. Like, I don't know. I think that it's that Microsoft manages, but
let's find out.
I'm pretty sure that it's that PlayStation pays Microsoft for cloud gaming, and then Sony manages it. Because then that would be like... Because I do know that if PlayStation wants to make their own Game Pass, they have to pay Microsoft.
It says Microsoft owns, like, Microsoft has this thing called Microsoft Azure for a cloud gaming thing. So it seems like it's
Yeah.
its own thing. But let's see what about Sony.
Yeah, and so no, I do know that PlayStation Now, it uses Azure. It uses
Oh,
that.
well, there you go. That answers your question.
Yeah, it uses that cloud gaming service.
And
So
they actually own Microsoft Azure.
what do you mean?
Like that's the cloud. That's the cloud gaming thing that they use. Microsoft Azure.
You see, so it's like for PlayStation Game Pass, they still have to pay Microsoft for that service. So it's like, oh yeah, Microsoft making more money out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like at
And
this
it's not
point, who
just
even
that. Like,
cares about
and it's
them
not
selling
just that.
Xbox?
Sony is not just a gaming company, just like Microsoft. And when they bought Activision, Activision wasn't even selling to Sony. They weren't even on the table. The ones that were on the table were Microsoft, Facebook, and I think Amazon and Google. So Sony couldn't even buy Activision. That's the thing. Because they don't have as much money as Microsoft and Facebook. And here's another thing. Metaverse is happening. Metaverse, which is a virtual reality world thing. I still don't understand what Metaverse is.
Yeah, I was just
But
about to ask.
it's those big tech companies that are going to push forward Metaverse. Sony can't do that because they're not a big tech company like Microsoft and Google and fucking Facebook and, like, you know?
Yeah.
They don't make as much money as those trillion-dollar companies. And Amazon is just getting into the gaming business. They made their own game like New World and this other MOBA that was sucked ass. And they made New World which had pretty good numbers on Steam. So I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon wanted to buy Activision, but that's the thing. Like, what would you prefer? What is the alternative you would prefer? Amazon, which is just getting into the gaming business, doesn't know shit about the gaming business. Google, which made their own streaming service for games and sucked balls, or Microsoft, which has been in the gaming business for 20 years.
Yeah, since 2001.
I would have picked Microsoft day in and day out.
Not only that, but like Microsoft's also done some good shit even before the Series X. It's like, the original Xbox, like I said, like, it was a phenomenon at the time.
And the CEO of Microsoft Gaming now is Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer revitalized the Xbox brand. And I saw the documentary after the Xbox One, Microsoft was giving up on Xbox. So
yeah, I mean, I don't blame them.
That could literally have meant that Xbox Series X could not have happened if it wasn't for Phil Spencer.
There you go. It's an interesting tale. It's an interesting story.
And I don't feel like I want to live in a world where Xbox doesn't exist. Things like Game Pass would have never existed.
Yeah, and then Sony and Nintendo would have been the only two video games.
Sony would have been a gaming monopoly, bro. That's when they would have been a gaming monopoly. Because they would have their exclusive games, they would have 70% of the player base of Call of Duty. Not just that, but literally not have any competition. Which that would mean that Sony could have done any bullshit and not have any backlash.
Yeah, like, because technically speaking, like Sony and Nintendo may be competing, but Nintendo's just mostly trying to like do their own shit, Nintendo's just more old school and just experimenting with some of their systems, whereas Sony could have literally done whatever they want.
Yeah, they could have literally sold the console. They could have literally sold the PS5 if the Xbox didn't exist. They could have literally sold the PS5 for $700 and nobody would say a thing.
And to think,
because they didn't have any competition, they would have nothing.
And to think, who would have thought we would have been like in that like we would have been close to that because at the time, like, you know, Xbox was a laughing stock.
Because what was the biggest reason that people bought a 360? Because the PS3 cost $600.
It was overpriced, and the games weren't that impressive looking.
Exactly. Versus
Meanwhile,
the competition that had better shit. Imagine that the competition never existed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Microsoft had fucking Halo 3 on its belts. Without, I don't. Imagine fucking Halo was on PlayStation. Jesus.
The PS5 could have been a fucking $700 console if Xbox never existed, or if Xbox literally died after the one. So I don't think I want to live in a world like that. Yeah. Because then I would have to buy the PS5 for like $700, and who knows, maybe the PS6 could have been like $1,000.
And it would just get more and more expensive. Yeah, at this point you're better off getting PC.
So it's like, dude, I don't know if I want to live in a world like that. I think I would prefer competition rather than.
That's just the thing. A lot of people think some people think that like the competition in gaming is actually more bad for the industry. But it's like I don't agree with that at all. Like I think that actually keeps not only has having competition is like you said like
really. I think it's really good for the industry because it gives executives a reason to be like, holy shit,
to try harder. You know,
not just try harder, but not be a greedy fuckface.
Yeah.
Like the PS3 was. Because when the PS3 came out, it was like a sinking ship. That's what literally the CEO of Sony said. It was like being the captain of the Titanic after they hit the iceberg. That's what the Sony CEO of the time said.
And Xbox was just like the better system at the time, so it's like,
so yeah, they prompted
to do better.
And here's another thing: like Netflix would have never even been a thing in video game consoles if it wasn't for the Xbox 360 back in the day. Because the Xbox 360, they were the ones that made all the deals with like Netflix and Hulu and shit.
Didn't it start with the Wii though?
No, it started with the 360.
I could have sworn it started with the Wii for some reason.
Because they made a lot of deals with Netflix and Hulu, and that's when the Xbox One came out with all their TV bullshit that nobody wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, and now all that argument with used games and playing used games is like irrelevant, because who the hell goes to GameStop and trades in games anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that point is like literally invalid. And now
it's so funny how we went from like how that being the most controversial thing at the time to now it's like, who cares?
I think it's funny now that so many people were like, Xbox has no games. To hold up, Xbox, you have too many games.
Yeah, like tell me about it. Like, and hell, even the PS3 went through that phase too when it launched. And that's like now, like someone literally made a fucking Avengers Endgame like fight, like with Thanos being God of War or Sony exclusive and having Sony exclusives, and then the fucking Portal scene is everything that Microsoft has. And I didn't realize how many things I actually prefer the things that Microsoft had over Sony until I saw that video and I saw all the shit that they actually own from Bethesda and Activision. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. But take this video for what you will. If you ever get a chance to try out both, like then we already know that you have our recommendation to try out both. If you're a Sony player or an Xbox player, then the other competition definitely has something that you might be interested in. But the point is, the console war is like it's back at its peak, similar to how they did it on the PS3 and 360. And honestly, it actually makes me prompted to get both systems, but more eager to get the Xbox Series X Series S. With what it offers, honestly. But take this what you will. Like, you know, hopefully, but if you watch this video, you'll be like, you know what? I think I'm willing to give the Xbox another try, since I used to write them off as like a lost cause after the Xbox One. Or if you were curious to see like some of the blockbuster stories that the PlayStation that Sony has, like, both systems seem like are worth getting. But at the end of the day, which one will come out on top? Only time will tell, really. And honestly,
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what the future has in store for both systems. As a, as a runner-up PC player myself, I still have my enjoyments on PlayStation and Xbox. But yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed this Slugcast. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think this was possibly my favorite Slugcast we've done so far. Like
Definitely.
it was an interesting conversation and an interesting it was an interesting, open-minded conversation, as it could really open the minds of those who have never really thought to try out their competitions. I think they're both worth trying out, But this was a really good Slugcast, and I hope you all enjoyed it as
Except
well.
for Nintendo.
Oh, fuck Nintendo. Nintendo's dead to me. Like, I don't care about Nintendo. Nintendo's like, okay, slight Nintendo rant, but the fact that Nintendo is still using the most dated fucking hardware on their online services, fucking Windows 98's, like, Jesus Christ. Their online is shit. The online offers they have is shit, and even their diehard Nintendo fans fucking hate their offers. It's like the virtual consoles on the Wii and Wii U were better than the shit that they're offering on the Switch. So, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Nintendo, but actually I'm not. I was never really a big fan of Nintendo. I only liked 4 of your series out of, like, God knows how many you have.
Well, alright, sluts. I think that brings the video to a conclusion.
I hope you all enjoyed it.
We must bid you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and good night.
Later, sluts. Have a good fucking day.